When people come to me and they tell me whatever the story is, I always wonder, why aren't we able to recognize the beginning? You know, is it
Well,
that we watch too much TV and we just see the policy officers start talking to people just start talking back. Nobody asks, why the hell are you talking to me? Nobody asks, where is your emergency? When the
correct.
sheriff is showing up to evict you, when the constables are showing up to evict you, okay? They're agents of the county. It is the county exercising an eminent domain. They're going to say, oh, well, you owed the bank. But that's none of your business.
Exactly. Four-party debt collector
That
with
is
no
not
authority,
literally
with
none
no
of your
authority
business. And your
and no
charter
license
says
to take it.
you can only take an interest in public property. All right. So welcome everyone to today's call, today's Bible study. I'm very excited to hear that people are starting to get it. I hope that everyone is realizing that the major problem is that we have no idea how the transaction that the agents and agency are attempting to have with us even arises. Like, we don't know where the beginning is. You know what I'm saying? So because we don't know where the beginning is, we're led by our fear, ignorance, or unfortunately, the wannabe gurus that also don't know where the beginning is, try to help us. So
Good grief, people.
we
I
don't
mean,
know where the beginning is. The people trying to help us don't know where the beginning is. So everyone starts the conversation in the middle. And the problem with starting the conversation in the middle is that it presumes all of the previous steps were correct. Do you guys see how that's a problem?
Yeah.
When you
hell
jump
yeah.
in
Yeah.
trying to answer what they're talking about, right? It skips over the threshold of they're not even supposed to be talking to you. Is
Right.
everybody understanding?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is
Yes.
when people, by the time people get to me and this platform, they're already like, oh, and I told them this and I told them that. And I said this and I said that. And it's like, who were you talking to? The agent from here, the agency over there. Why were they talking to you? We got nothing. No one knows why the agents and agency are like not supposed to be talking to us, or why they should be talking to us, who they have to be, who we have to be in order for them to just initiate conversations with us. Someone says they're new. That's okay. Welcome everyone new. Because again, if you have not identified the beginning,
The Genesis.
that absolutely got to understand that Genesis. If you don't
Origin.
understand the beginning, what is supposed to be in place before an agent can even open their mouth and push air in your direction, you're going to end up talking about stuff that is just going to incriminate you. You're going to violate your own rights
These
because
are my
you're going to start self-confessing. You're going to start self-incriminating because you haven't qualified who is supposed to be talking. Why is this person talking to you? What about the invitation, Charles?
That's what I'm saying. You get that invitation to be hollering at me?
Well, we get an invitation and then we be RSVPing.
Well, can I give an example real quick? The
Sure.
woman, I'm not sure who the woman said about the laptop just a minute ago, but the difference between a laptop and a laptop, that's the origin that she's speaking of. That's a perfect example that was mentioned here just a minute ago. If you look up lap and you look up lab, you'll see the huge difference in conception of the concept of those two things. And this is exactly what she's talking about. What is the origin of conversation and why has it happened?
Yes. People think the police start talking to you, you should just start talking back to the police. The sheriff starts talking to you, you should just start talking back to the sheriff. DHS call you, you should just start blah, 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 blah. They invite you to court, you should just start going blah, blah, blah. I'm a good
You have the
mom.
right.
I'm an upstanding citizen, and all this nonsense.
And
You
the
have the
point,
right to remain silent.
Yes, and that's why it's the
Shut up.
fifth.
Well, the attorney says you got a right to shut the fuck.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's what the
and
attorney online said. You got the right
and
to
this
shut
is,
the fuck up. And
and
y'all
that's what
not shutting the fuck up.
and that's why it's the Fifth Amendment, because these people are intoxicated, they're inebriated, and they don't understand these things. Okay.
Yes. So that's how we act. We act like we're drunk. Okay. When people come to me and they tell me whatever the story is, I always wonder why aren't we able to recognize the beginning? You know, is it
Well,
that we watch too much TV and we just see the policy officers start talking to people just start talking back. Nobody asks, why the hell are you talking to me? Nobody asks, where is your emergency? Because we don't know that we're not supposed to just be self-confessing,
yeah,
incriminating ourselves. For some reason, we think it's like social media. Nobody's talking to you. Nobody says anything. And then bam, you just start volunteering shit about your life. Maybe that's why they gave us social media.
see what I just ate?
See
Right.
what
Well, I
happened.
don't mind seeing what you just ate, right?
See what happened was
Yeah,
Yeah,
see what
right.
happened.
Yeah, see what happened was, right?
That's a great one right there.
That's the best one. So today, it's going to be a continuation of our conversation. And we're having these conversations in segments because when people start asking their questions, I would like for us to be able to point them back to specific videos that can help them with their comprehension. Because what it is that they want to talk about is not as important as the fact that they're not supposed to be talking to you. What it is they want to talk about. They want to talk about your house. They want to talk about your children. They want to talk about your car. They want to talk about your boat. They want to talk about your mama's house. They want to talk about your daddy's house. They want to talk about grandma's house. They want to talk about uncle's house. And y'all just start talking about it. When these agents are limited to their subject matter, and it must be only in the public.
And it
It has
has
to
to
be a public house, a public park, a
right.
public school, you understand?
It can't be synonymous. I mean, it has to be synonymous with that. But if they're using phonomics to morph into third house, that is inducement. So if you don't understand the phonomics, the words they're using, if you just assume that it's a word that's supposed to be over here when it's actually over there, you got to have the tonality of the whole construct.
Well, I know I'm stupid. So when they start talking to me, I just ask them to put it in writing
There you go.
so that
Under,
I could
under
go
penalties
look
of
at it
perjury.
and then look up the word because I'm not the brightest bulb, right?
are you conversing me?
They might be. They might be. And I tell everybody the story about what happened a few months ago. We go to get our son a car. The guy starts talking about we gotta tax you, blah 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 blah. And guess what I said? Are you willing to put that in writing?
Are you hazing me?
Are you willing to put that in writing? These are phrases you guys need to write down. They
Under
go in blah
penalty.
blah 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 blah. Are you willing to put that in writing? Because I'm kind of retarded, so I need to
This feels
read what you just said.
this
So,
feels
and I
public.
need to be able to look up the words in the statutes to see what they mean.
Under the pains of penalty and perjury.
No, you don't even have to do that. I told the man because he started accusing me. Oh, you want me to swear that I am saying? I'm like, what you talking about? All I ask you don't even have to put your name on it. Because guess what? Your handwriting is enough to prove you said it. You don't have to sign your name to it, lying ass finance manager at the car dealership. You don't have to put your name on it. Use your handwriting. Because guess what I'm going to ask you in court when I hold up the piece of paper? What am I going to ask him when I hold up the piece of paper in court?
Is this
Is
you?
this your
Is this your handwriting?
Is it your handwriting? I don't need you to say anything under penalties of perjury. That's another thing these gurus got everybody all going crazy about. Just like Charles said before we started recording, people are worried about not getting back their green cards. When my son's case got deleted, we sent that shit regular 54-cent stamp.
He's being an impressionist.
We
Trying to
sent it
impress.
to 6 or 7 places.
Shit, I think I even use a 3-cent stamp. 2 cent, 3 cent.
So
Whatever.
it's just between us and our 99 closest friends. I steal the stationery from my husband's office. I'm not
Stamp
paying
only.
for no stamp. Okay? I write the thing, tell him to fuck off, stop talking to my son, or pay me 247 grand. folded it up. I said, here, babe. And he just went bop, 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 bop. What the heck is stationary? So the last few weeks, we've been going over the concept, but I've also been showing you guys in writing from the federal constitution that they can make rules for who?
The government.
Article 1, Section 8, Clause 14. You don't have to guess. Read it. They can make rules for who?
Government.
And the land and naval forces. Absolutely. So now the charge is for us to connect that to the state constitution and then connect that to the statutes or charters of the county and the cities. Why? Because the states and the subdivisions of the state cannot make any rules inconsistent with the federal constitution. They cannot make any. So if the federal constitution limits their interactions, their ability to make rules only for the government and the land and naval forces, can the states make a law that touch your private life?
No.
So why do we think that all these statutes are trying to touch our private life?
Indoctrination.
It's because we all went to those public schools? Is it because we all went to those
public.
public schools, people?
Yep.
Yeah.
Public schools are for public servants. Isn't that amazing?
Exactly right.
Public schools are for public servants. Wow.
Fine.
What isn't that mind blowing? Can they teach the children how to live in private?
Hell no. Never did.
Can a public school teach the children how to live in the private?
No.
Absolutely not.
You got all these people out here. I'm trying to get private. I'm trying to be private. I'm trying to live in the private, trying to act in the private.
Okay, Mr. Equity.
You got to find a chancery court. You got to find a chancery court where the judge is your friend. Are you in the court? Because I think if you in there, the judge ain't your friend. The judge ain't your friend. Okay,
Yes.
woman. Go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst before we go on to today's extension.
Okay, thank you. So funny enough, the case, the federal case, they did file some stuff in yesterday, and my filing didn't get filed in until the 17th. So then they did it the day after, and basically a bunch of name calling and stuff. But trying to strike, I think striking my disqualification of the judge. And wouldn't you know, the stupid magistrate, I think, terminated it.
The magistrate that you filed against,
Yeah.
you can't terminate your own. But you see, it's happening within 24 hours, right?
Yeah, like I haven't gone
So
thoroughly.
this is your
yet,
third
but
motion you filed that has been automatically, basically terminated
yeah.
without a hearing and without objection from the other party.
Well, they timed it. I think. Well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't speak because I haven't looked. I
Okay.
don't know.
All right. So did you have a question or something you wanted to share with us?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to shut these people up because they're just making me so annoyed. And I'm
Yeah,
just
stop being
wondering, do I
annoyed.
send
You
them
have to
some-
realize that they're acting in desperation.
Okay.
You should be gloating right now. You should be like, look at what I have their stupid ass doing. It's like when Charles filed the motion for the attorney to show the authority. That was what, 2 pages? And the attorney responded back with 15 pages. It doesn't matter that he answered. It doesn't even matter what he's saying. It's the fact that it took them 15. Does that sound like somebody
Yeah.
confident that they're going to win?
No.
Is that when you know what you know, you answer them in 2 pages, 3 pages, 1 page,
One.
1 page. Okay?
One.
Because like right now, that's I would put in a motion to strike because all these motherfuckers keep talking and they haven't showed their authority to speak.
Right.
How many sentences that took?
Right. Just 2.
That's it. That's what you
What?
do on them.
Yeah.
Strike everything. Because if that's why I put in the paperwork, our request is basic. Our request is a
You was by yourself?
It's universal. Our request is
Yeah.
universal. Do you guys understand? I know we got a lot of new people on the line, but think back on when you ever had to do something for someone else. You had to call the doctor for them. You had to call their school, right? You had to call some agency. What's the first thing they ask you? Is your name on the account? When you say no, it's not your name on the account. What's the next thing they ask you?
Your authority, your delegation of authority.
They ask you for your power of attorney, right? Don't they ask you for your power of attorney
Yeah.
to speak on behalf of someone else?
Yeah.
Everybody on the call, has it ever happened? Do they not ask for a power of attorney to speak on someone else's behalf? Why is it that we have attorneys or judges or guardian ad litem or anybody showing up going, I'm speaking on behalf of the state, and nobody says, where's your power of attorney?
Right.
Where's your license?
Why don't we ask that? Is it
Mhm.
because we want to be famous? We want to talk shit? We want to get some likes on what we saying?
want everybody to follow.
Oh my
us.
gosh.
Thumbs up.
Malik. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. What was you gonna say?
I was just going to say, Malika, you should read some of this. I hope you get a chance to, because it's about 2 pages, but he talks about the mythical region and he talks about how my latest attempt to exercise dominance over the court.
It's my case, bitch. Am I not supposed to be dominating the court? Are you feeling intimidated, you pussy?
Slam dunk contest.
When you filed the case, whose case is it?
Right.
Who's supposed to be dominating the court?
LeBron and woman.
LeBron and woman?
Woman James.
Do you guys feel the attorney tears? She's dominating. How dare she?
I thought he practiced in sadomasochism. What's his safe word?
I
What's his
thought
safe-
you
Ask him what
came
his safe
because
word
you
is.
wanted to get spanked.
What's his safe
I
word?
thought you showed up. I was here like, who want to get their ass beat? And you showed up.
His safe word is the phrase, if it pleases the queen, damn woman.
Maybe that's what she could put back in her letter, right?
Right.
It pleases the crown.
Hey, if you're gonna be of a banana republic, we need a safe word or phrase that's gonna work out.
How dare she file a case and own me?
Afghanistan, banana stand. Let's go with that one.
And then get the
Everybody has
Guess
to
what the-
understand that when we call them barflies, it's to actually identify them as all they do is buzz around. And if you don't swat their ass away, they're gonna bite you and they're gonna infect you.
yeah.
Okay? Don't be look. First you're gonna be like this, and then you're gonna just turn to the side with your left hand. Not even your dominant hand. Okay? Right? First you're gonna be running, then you're gonna stop running, then you're gonna be like, stop this bullshit. Then you're gonna start punching them in the face, and all of a sudden it's gonna be like, and this is all gonna happen because of what we're talking about on these calls. If you don't know when they have authority to speak, and I'm not talking about show me your anti-bribery statement, show me your don't show me none of that. Don't show me none of that. Don't show me none of that. You know why? Here's why don't show me none of that. Y'all see, I'm about to harass the treasurer of the county. I'm coming for you, Michael. Michael. Okay. So governments derive the Declaration of Independence. It is the mother document of the Constitution. Don't let nobody say we don't go by that, because this is what the Constitution is based on. So if you swear an oath to uphold the Constitution, you automatically swear to uphold the Declaration of Independence and the Bible, by the way. I don't care how you feel about whatever you feel about. Okay? So it says right here, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
Governed.
So, if someone presumes to govern you, what do they need?
Consent.
From
you. Self.
from yourself. So when they start talking, you better start looking. And what are you looking for?
That
POA.
paper that shows
Their
who
authority.
the fuck you think you are.
Yeah, that's right. Who the fuck you think you talking to? Are you talking to the governed? You saying I'm the governed? Bitch, show me that your powers came from my consent. I don't care if you have an oath of office if you want to be my servant. Come here, slave. I got plenty rocks for you to move. I need to outline this whole garden right here. All this terrace right here, put those rocks right there on that line. Turn these big rocks into little rocks and go. Do you need to have an oath of office to be Malika's slave? Do you need to have an anti-bribery statement to be Malika's slave? You know what you need to be Malika's slave? Malika's consent for you to be her slave. Did I consent to be governed by yourself? Because if I did, I'm going to need you to show it to me. And if you don't, what are they trying to enforce if they can't show it to you?
Slave.
Slavery.
Slavery.
Involuntary servitude. Be an industry.
When I say that most people don't have a problem with being enslaved, nor the enslavement of others, somebody told me I'm making fun of people. Even though I didn't put no exclamation point, no haha emoji, no emoji at all. I put a period.
Better than making boredom of people.
Making boredom?
Yeah, it's better than making boredom of people. Why not make fun?
Oh, well, that was what's funny. Like I said, I didn't put an exclamation point. I didn't put no emojis. I didn't put LOL.
Should.
I have court tomorrow.
No, you have court tomorrow. Because only yous can have court.
You
Don't.
Only yous can have court.
You're an officer of the court now?
is Jesse Powell singing?
Okay, let's click on who is the you. Everybody read this.
No, Jesse Powell died.
Exactly. That's the point where that shit is dead.
You means an individual who owes a debt. So you can only have a court date. Only yous can have court dates. I cannot have a court date.
Right.
Malika, can I ask a question pertaining to that?
Sure.
I noticed that I have a letter. So at the top of the letter addresses my name, but in the body of the letter only addresses you in the body of the letter.
Yeah, because you named above owe a debt or is presumed to owe an alleged debt
Click
to
your
the
heels.
United States.
Is it uppercase or lowercase at the top?
It don't matter.
The
Nobody
name
cares.
is upper and lower.
Nobody cares if it's upper and lower.
Well, the
Okay.
Listen to
But
me
the-
very carefully. If it came to where you receive mail and the name looks like yours, they're at least trying to talk to yourself.
yeah. That's the
So
point.
no, that's not the point. Because people be like, they didn't even put it in they only put it in all caps. That don't mean a fucking thing. They're still attempting to connect you, yourself, to them.
because,
And
yes,
it don't matter how they wrote your name. It matters
Okay.
that
Just
they
said put
wrote
me
your
like
name.
that.
How they wrote your name doesn't matter. It matters that they wrote your name.
It
Or they're
matters.
trying to attempt to write something that looks like your name so they could talk to you. That's the problem.
It
Not
matters.
that it's lower,
Wait a minute.
upper, all little, all big.
But the name is not in the body of the letter
It don't
at
matter.
all.
They're still fraud in the inducement, still trying to make yourself a you. That's what you need to be concerned about, not how they wrote it or where they wrote it. And that's why I don't open mail. If I don't care how my name is spelled. If you don't have an address or an address I recognize, return to sender. When you guys
Correct.
open the mail and then scare the shit out of yourself and then be like, well, how should I apply to that? Maybe you shouldn't be opening other people's mail, especially if you don't think it's your name. Why you open other people's mail? You trying to commit
But-
crimes?
But this is Thriller.
Okay. Then why are they receiving mail in that same name and with that same address and that same federal trade?
Because it's hypnotic.
I want to receive mail from who I wish to receive mail from, and I don't care how they spell my name. But
In
if
the
I
fed-
didn't invite you into my mailbox by creating a willing and knowing agreement with you, I'm going to return to sender.
You have. If you receive mail, MAIL, in that federal box in the zoning improvement plan, previously, you were of the collected whole. And when they send you an offer and inducement, this is why that language matters. And the way they did that language matters. You're being split minded. For 1 minute, you're saying you're not of the collective whole. And the next minute, you're saying you're not. And they have no right to send those things to you because that's private.
I'm not saying they
when
don't
it's
have
not
a right
private.
to send anything to me. That's like saying nobody has the right to punch you in your face. They do. But you have the right to punch them back, shoot them back, or whatever too.
Sure,
It's not
but
that they don't, it's not that they're not gonna try you. It's how you react. So don't tell people, oh, they're not supposed to try you. Oh yeah, they're supposed to try you.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the people need to understand the continuity between the upper first letter, the capital of their name, and in the body they converted it to just a standard U because it is an
If
inducement.
you're not supposed to be talking to me, you're not supposed to be sending me shit.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're sending me shit, I don't care how you wrote my name. It's whether you're supposed to be sending shit to me or you're not. If I don't have a contract with you, you can't be like, well, you got a contract with the mail people, so that means you got a contract with me. Where the hell? No. You can send whatever shit you want, but I'm going to return to sender. And I don't care how you spelt my name. Right way, wrong way, all little, first name big, whatever. Do I have a relationship with you?
On the topic of you, Malika, when Keith would say it's an abstract noun.
Yeah, and if you're playing in fantasy, 1 minute and not
And
the
that's
next
what the
minute,
notes is about.
right?
If I'm playing the game, I can stop playing the game. I could pause playing the game and I could do something else and I could come back to play the game. And nobody could force me. I could be 1 minute over here, 1 minute over there. You can't force me.
It sounds like pump and dump to me.
Yeah, that sounds like pump and dump.
Got him.
Got
Take your
her. You
ball and
right.
go home.
You
Charles
right,
comes-
John.
Charles comes out left field with that one.
And we ain't never gonna live that down. We're gonna keep going back and forth about it.
Right.
Because it's worth talking about. So we're gonna continue our conversation. I hope everybody has their state constitution up because we went through the federal. Okay, so on this document, I hope you guys are making the same document because you were supposed to have started it when I started it. So I don't want to have a bunch of people in here talking about invite me to your document because you're supposed to be making the same document. Don't wait and then say invite me to your document. Make your own. You have to get this as your own comprehension. I told you the parts that we're talking about. Article 1, Clause 1, 3, 10, 14, and 17. What I have written here in blue is what I copied and pasted out of the state constitution, and I'm going to ask you to go and look for the same parts and paste it into your notes because everybody's going to get crystal clear that is not their oath of office, their anti-bribery statement, and their credentials that make them able to talk to you. It is merely the consent of the governed, which means you have to be written into the rules of who they can talk to. In Article 1, Section 8, Clause 14, the Constitution says that Congress shall have the power to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces. And the states cannot make laws inconsistent with the federal. So if the federal is limited to government and regulation of the land and naval forces, the state can only be limited to making rules and regulating those of the government and the land and naval forces.
Emotional
Don't get it
outburst,
twisted.
emotional outburst suggestion. Stop looking at so-called letters, quote unquote, addressed, quote unquote, to you, quote unquote, as left. Look at them as like a pendulum swinging, and it's like you're getting sleepy.
Yes, they're trying to hypnotize you.
Yes, I yield.
Okay. So I'm gonna show you guys an example. Y'all can see this? See this name up here?
Yeah.
I have no contract with these people. Okay. There's no express written consent to communicate with whoever they want to put here, regardless of how they want to spell it. Who they named here or attempted to name or however y'all want to look at it, did not create a contract. Who moves this name did not make a contract with this name. So guess
Invoice
where this is
time.
going?
Back to
In the
sender.
box.
Return to sender.
Turn to sender.
And I don't have to write all types of stuff on the front.
What an
Of course,
invoice.
you can write all the rest of the stuff on the front if you wish, but let me tell you guys, I always try to put myself in the position of the man or woman that's going to be receiving this back. And if I receive mail from any one of y'all on here or off, and you making a plea on the front, I'm gonna be like, bitch, this you. And you trying to get out of your responsibilities. Because if it wasn't you, you wouldn't be writing all that shit. You wouldn't give a fuck. You'd be like, not here, like name unknown or whatever. and you would send it
Yeah.
back. You wouldn't be writing a dissertation. You wouldn't be writing pleadings. That's amateur, rookie.
Rudy. Is it Rudy?
It's also ridiculous. Because if you want to say, oh, the name is all caps, they ain't me, then why the hell you writing all this stuff? And it's what's funny, they got my first name and then my husband's last name. That's how I know. Ain't no Malika Dyer out here. That is actually a fiction, and she don't live here. No, there's no one born named Malika Dyer on earth, as far as I know. No Malika Dyer exists. So you talking to Malika Dyer, and you sending it to somewhere where another Malika is. I'm not that Malika. My husband likes to give me these things though. Maybe he likes me seeing me write return to sender. So you have to pull up your state constitution. Some of the things I added in here, as you see, federal rules of procedure, because remember, they can only make rules for the government. Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 17 says the plaintiff and the defendant have the capacity of public officers. They're telling you over and over, and we keep missing it. So we make the wrong argument. We want to make the argument that, well, I am this special class of man or woman. That's what makes you can't talk to me.
Yeah.
And on some level, that's true. I'm a special class of man or woman called the sovereign, the non-agent. And yeah, you could only talk to agents. While you're at work wearing your uniform, you can only talk to agents if you're talking about violations of the rules. That's like going into Target and you're the so-called customer, but they come asking you where your red shirt and khaki pants are. You're gonna be like, those rules aren't for me. Isn't that right? Isn't that what you would say?
That's your private retirement
Those
rules.
rules are not for me because I don't work here. Do you work here? How many people on here work here right now? How many of y'all on the clock right now watching this?
1, 2, 3, not it. Nope.
I'm always on my father's
Nope.
business.
1, 2, 3, not it.
This
I'm
is how
heavenly.
easy they are to beat. All you have to realize is the rules only apply to who work there. And
Right.
guess what?
What?
I don't work there.
They tell you in the rules of procedure that the capacity of both the plaintiff and the defendant, if they want to drag you into court, is for public officers. You think it has something to do with the fact that it's a mortgage. You think it has something to do with the fact that it's custody. You think it has something to do with child support. This is what it has to do with first. Where do you work? Do you work for them? Because if you don't work for them, they're not supposed to be talking to you about anything at all. Not your babies, not your boobies, not your nothing.
Boobies.
Here we ended it on here where it talks about permissive. What's the opposite of permissive, guys? What's the opposite of permissive?
Trespassive. Oh, sorry. All right, forgive me. Strike that from
But
the
you're
record.
also wrong.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
What is permissive? Some of y'all don't seem to know what permissive means.
Deny.
What is it? What is the opposite of permissive?
Like permission, meaning you have a license to do it.
Non-permissive.
No permission.
Non-permissive.
Okay, well, what
The
does permissive
privilege.
mean? What does permissive mean?
Privilege.
What does
Permissive-
permissive
permissive.
mean?
Permissive is permissive.
Allowed.
Yeah.
What's
Permission,
another
yeah.
way to say permissive?
Permission.
With
License.
Consent.
authority, with agreement, with consent. That's permissive. Okay, sounds like we need to go look up the etymology of permissive or
I'm already
permission or
on it.
permission.
You already know.
Permit to permit.
I'm already on it.
Permissive. Let's look at what the definition of permissive is.
Granting or inclined to grant permission, tolerant or inherent.
Okay. So
That's what it
freedom of
says.
behavior, allowed to, but not obligatory. So what is the opposite of permissive?
Don't allow.
Obligatory,
Required.
obligated,
Obligated.
required. Permissive means with permission. You're able to do it. You're free to act. A permissive kiss is one where they say, yes, come kiss me. An obligatory kiss is you gonna kiss me whether you want to or not, which is
Right.
so the opposite of permissive is obligatory or obligatory or however your culture pronounces that.
Not Biden.
Okay, bound to is the opposite of permissive. Y'all saying submissive. That's not what it is. Allowed, allowing discretion, optional. That's a word for permissive. It's optional, permissive. So here they used to talk about permissive joinder. That means they've been giving approval, given authority to join. Do you understand?
From whom?
Permissive mean I say, if you ever need anything, that's permissive. Do you understand? They tell us permissive joinder, persons who may join or be joined, defendants, persons, as well as vessels, subject to admiralty and in rem jurisdiction. That's who may be joined. They already tell you in Rule 17, you got to be a public officer or official. And in order to be the defendant, you have to be subject to admiralty in rem. You got to be GI issued. You got to be GI Jane or GI Joe. So whenever you're saying, I have a court date, you are literally saying, I am a person, which means that you're an agent for a fictitious entity, subject to admiralty jurisdiction as a GI Joe, as part of the government or land or naval forces. That is what you're saying. And the reason that has to be what you're saying is because that's the only motherfuckers that they could invite to court.
You just did a status correction on the fly.
Oh, is that what you call it?
I thought I had to do a bunch of paperwork for status correction.
You do. You have to send them a notice showing them you know who they're supposed to be talking to, and then you ask them for the documentary evidence that is yourself.
When there's no living fucking bullshit in the fictional realm anyway.
But Charles, some people do work for the government, and they should be punished when they're doing bullshit at work. But what we're doing is allowing the people playing the I'm a public officer game to come invite us to the game, and then we don't know that we don't qualify to be in the game. So then we start saying stupid shit like I got a court date next week.
I'm finna play anyway.
Well, go ahead. Don't complain when you see somebody else's mail, because a lot of people are like, oh, that's not my name, but you still open the shit. What's wrong with you?
If it exists in your mind, it is.
Oh yeah, we're gonna play today.
You still run into your mailbox? Charles looking to be invited now. Don't nobody want to talk to him.
They ain't wanna play no more.
They don't want to play no more. But if you've made your notes, because these are just copy paste, guys. Yeah, as you guys see, all I did was highlight. All right. So in your notes, this is another thing I added. I went back to 15 USC 4727, where we got the definition of United States citizen means United States business and vice versa, of course, because definitions mean the same front and back. Definitions have to mean the same front and back. So United States business means a United States citizen also proves a United States citizen means a United States business. And I went back to that section to grab A, because I think this is important. It's important to know that since the United States can only regulate interstate and foreign commerce pursuant to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3, this section here, Title 15, is why they put the Secretary of Commerce here. That's the power that they have to regulate. They have the power to regulate government and land and Navy forces personnel, right, that are operating in commerce among the states and nations and all this other nonsense. So they got the Secretary of Commerce rightfully regulating these citizens, which are businesses of the United States.
Or individuals.
What was that?
I'm saying or individuals, as is defined in Title 11.
Yes. The individuals are nothing but sole proprietors. So you're still a business. It just means you're a sole proprietor business.
Same thing as an native sexual. Same fucking thing.
So you should be making the connection. They can regulate interstate and foreign commerce. Obviously, they got to do it through the Secretary of Commerce. The Secretary of Commerce shall provide assistance in the United States to bring together representatives.
Come here.
Oh, man, mute yourself before you invite Monet.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Secretary of Treasury shall bring together representatives of United States businesses. That's why when these gurus tell you, go DBA your name, set up a trust, they are literally telling you to put yourself under the jurisdiction of the Secretary of Commerce by being a representative of some type of trust or other fictitious entity. The problem is that you're trying to be a fictitious entity or operate as a representative of a fictitious entity instead of exercising your God-given rights. Those are not synonymous. If you feel you have to get a 98 whatever or 99 or I don't know what the hell else they call them, you think you need an EIN, you're not exercising God-given rights. Because nowhere in the granting of dominion over earth does it say, but only if they make a 98 EIN trust some shit.
That's their paperwork, not ours.
It is your paperwork if you wish to actually start a business. Like if you wish to start a business, please register it. Get an EIN. Get a business plan. Open up a business account and operate properly in interstate and foreign commerce, please. But if you're looking to exercise your right when you're not at work operating your business under an EIN and you just want a piece of chicken or a piece of broccoli for yourself to eat, okay, you're going to still have to know how to exercise your God-given right. Or you're going to be stuck operating in interstate and foreign commerce 100% of the time.
But SPC navigates you right around all that. You don't have to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to do, but you got to get a DBA and get an EIN and what somebody say? Did you claim the name or something? I don't even know what people talk about, and because I can't find where it says I have to do any of that shit to exercise my God-given rights.
Yeah, you just claim the name or
The
express
other thing is,
bullshit.
I have personally operated a business since the age of 18. So all that stuff they trying to tell you to do, I recognize it as like, nah, I'm not doing more of that. I already know how to do that. I already know how to operate as a business. I have an EIN that I created 19 years ago that I still memorize. That's how much I was using it. Don't tell me I have to get another one, okay? I got 2 EINs actually that I remember off the top of my head. 2 different businesses.
I got 5, I think.
But do you remember them off the top of your head?
Fuck no, I
I don't know about y'all,
somewhere.
but I'm gonna post it in the Garden Gang group. That's an open group on Lawful Living. This is a side note. With one of those EIN, we are tax exempt from Home Depot. So all of my 100 friends on here, if you get into the Garden Gang group on Lawful Living, I will post how to be tax free if y'all want to go to Home Depot and get garden stuff or whatever y'all get from there.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Thank you, Alana.
Okay. I give it to my friends. I've been giving it to my friends a long time. It does not expire, which is why I give it to everybody. It works in every single register at every single Home Depot. It will work. It has been. Okay.
Yeah, emotional outburst add-on. We have one, 2 of those more that are here for one for those guys that know how to use it. So that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that
don't know
works
what
at
that is, but I already
Staples
know the phone
and
number. And if you give this phone number anywhere, it will take the tax off of whatever you're buying from Home Depot. Okay. So anyway,
Wait,
pull
before
up
you move on,
your.
before you move on from that, if you go to self-checkout, you're gonna need a cashier to
Oh
put in
yeah, the
a
cashier's gonna
code or
punch it in.
something like that, or the cashier has to do the transaction. It has a hard time at self-checkout.
That's my little sister on, guys. Thanks for making it, Teacher. So in your state constitution, pull up your preamble. Pull up your preamble and just paste it in your document under your state example. So we already covered the federal. We already see clearly that they're only supposed to be talking to government and the land and naval forces or their licensees. Never forget, they're licensees operating in interstate and foreign commerce. We already know that they're supposed to be only dealing with territory and property belonging to the United States in the form of vessels, which include any corporation created under the laws of the United States or any state, territory, district, or possession thereof. So now let's come down to the state so y'all can make the connection. We start with the preamble so you can see the people of Washington grateful to what?
Almighty God.
It does not say the government. You're not grateful to the government. You're grateful to the supreme ruler of the universe for our liberties. That's who grants the liberties. This is why I like to, y'all see me talk about the supreme ruler of the universe. I put it in the middle of everything.
But that's why people would even go with, because some of them will say God, and
Yes.
God etymologically is to call upon. That's why if you speak things that are not as though they were, they will become. I yield.
We have no idea what the name of our creator is, so we make up all types of ways to reference our creator. We don't know for sure if our creator, it doesn't make any sense for our creator to be singular. We all know why it makes no sense for our creator to be singular, but we don't know the plurality of it either. So we make up all types of phrases: the Almighty God, the Supreme Ruler. Who has something cool that's written in their preamble that they'd like to share?
Queen of heaven and earth.
Is that what it says in the Constitution?
No, but that's my creator.
I'm talking about what's in the preamble. Y'all out here trying to get creative. Who has something cool in the preamble that says about the creator? Okay, so Colorado says the supreme ruler of the universe as well.
Illinois says grateful to Almighty God for
Almighty God.
Mhm.
Okay, Massachusetts says the great creator. Minnesota
Texas
just says
is-
grateful to God.
New York is
Texas
grateful
is
to
Almighty
Almighty God.
too.
Florida
Awesome.
too is Almighty God.
Almighty God in Georgia.
Awesome. So we all have an idea of what it says about the preamble and where our liberties come from. So when we say, why are you talking to me? And they want to say, well, statute, blah, blah, blah. Nah, dog. It says that governments derive their just powers. Matter of fact, I'm going to just go grab that. Y'all just excuse me real quick while I go grab that. Y'all could go grab it too.
People will find that etymology for God so people can see that it's to call upon. So you got to speak it.
Yeah, you also see that they say Almighty God, so you could be calling upon different gods. You gotta be careful.
I mean, anytime I say the word God, I'm talking about my God. I don't care what version of God you were saying. If I say Almighty, the Lord, the Supreme Ruler, I'm referring to mine at all times. I don't care what word people want to conscript to say they're using. Yo, you might be careful. They might be talking about Moloch, and that's not the name I'm using, though.
I only see to call upon every time I see God.
Right, because that's all it means, because you don't actually know God's name. Nobody actually knows God's name or the creator's name or whatever the hell you want to say. You don't know it. So whatever you make up, that's fine. Right. The Most High.
The one.
Okay. Some people pronounce, Tetragrammaton, Can we go there?
I think Mary says, it's the God in me. Something like that. I think that's how it goes.
We can start off with Holy Tetragrammaton.
That's love too. Back to the zodiac.
Okay.
Hey, Bobby.
I think
call
it's
God the
interesting
place
that
of
they
oneness.
ordained it. They didn't just write it, they ordained it.
Who's the day and what order?
In the Constitution, in the Texas Constitution, they ordained.
That don't mean nothing to me. Some people got together and wrote some stuff on paper. That's okay.
I just think it's an interesting choice of word. That's all.
Okay. It don't make no never mind, because they're not talking to me. So I really don't really care about what words they use, right? They ordained it, they made it, they derived whatever. It's fine because it ain't for me. And that's all I want to show them. Whatever words, look, you ordained it for yourselves. You ordained it for those and other people over there. All right. So after you get to the preamble, you want to see the Declaration of Rights. And what you're looking for under the Declaration of Rights is usually Article 1. There are a few states where the Declaration of Rights are Article 2, but it's going to be either 1 or 2. They're going to call it Declaration of Rights or Bill of Rights. You're looking for the section, which is usually the first section, that says all political power is inherent in the people. It is not inherent in the government. It is not inherent in the policy officers. It's not inherent in the sheriff. It's not inherent in the court. It's inherent
So Malika,
in the people.
I have an emotional outburst question. If it's inherent in the people, where is it inherent from?
They already said the supreme ruler of the universe.
That's the point I was making. Excellent.
Yes, it's inherent in. It's inherent in the people from the supreme ruler of the universe. And the reason I put that up here is the government instituted among men deriving their just power from the consent of the governed, even though that's in the Declaration of Independence. You're going to see it in the Declaration of Rights again in every state.
So Malika, if they send people letters so-called addressed to them, isn't it then against those people receiving said letters? Isn't it against their religion?
It might be, but some of us don't have no religion because somebody told us religion is evil, and
Oh.
everybody with a Bible or a Quran or a Torah is a zealot.
Sucks to them.
People just being told things and then they get angry when they realize that things are false, but they don't go back to the source of the information to realize the power within themselves as highlighted in those holy books. Especially if you say stupid shit like every story in the Bible is telling you what to do. Some of it is showing you what not to do, but you still have people out there like, well, it's a story in the Bible and the story is evil, so God must be evil. The Bible allows for rape and incest and all that. This is stuff people say. So whatever. Okay. The next thing you're looking for. So everybody found the section that talks about political power inherent in the people. And again, the government is deriving their just powers by from the consent.
Yeah, I found mine.
Everybody found
Yeah.
it? Is it
Yeah.
exactly the same or somebody got something that's a little different?
I can read mine.
Yes.
It said, all men are by nature free
Woo!
and independent and have certain inherent and inalienable rights, among which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Oh.
To secure these rights and the protection of prosperity, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
Wow. They
Please know
put
that
all
man
of it
is
in
mine.
there.
Yes.
Please know that man is mind, not just penis havers. And or men is mind or minds. So even women are men in terms of minds.
Man is in mankind includes both genders.
Well, yeah,
I have
because
the
man
one for
reads
Texas.
minds.
Clarifying that a lot of people get confused.
I hope nobody on here is confused.
Yes, that was Illinois, whoever asked the question.
Awesome. Somebody else said they wanted to read theirs.
I have Texas.
Yes.
All political power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their benefit. The faith of the people of Texas stands pledged to the preservation of a republican form of government and subject to this limitation only. They have at all times the inalienable right to alter, reform, or abolish their government in such manner as they may think expedient.
Like sending them a letter with a picture like this?
So
Exactly.
inalienable and unalienable means it cannot be bought, sold, or transferred.
That's right. That's why when people say, I'm correcting my status and I'm filling out all this paperwork, and it's like, where were your rights that someone else was able to grab them? Where are they?
You're breaking the law.
Where were your rights hanging out that someone else was able to lasso them, draw them in, and
They were
On the
stuff it
corner
in their
of Fifth
pocket?
and Broad.
Uncognized.
All right. The next section to look for that I recommend, of course, everybody can look for whatever, is this part right here that talks about the supreme law of the land. Now, I am aware not every constitution has this part, but for all of the ones that do, that talk about the supreme law of the land, this is very important because it will say the supreme law of the land is the Constitution of the United States, which for me meant that I don't have to read the rest of this shit. Because if in section 2 you say the Constitution is the supreme law, then I just need to go back up here, don't I?
And then refer to Article 6 in the Constitution.
If it says right, all political powers inherent in the people, derived by consent of the governed, and then the Constitution of the United States, supreme law of the land. Okay. All right. So if that's supreme, why do y'all keep talking?
Because the hypnosis is so deep into the subcortex of the mind. Let me stop.
But we're going to keep reading just because we are going to get comprehension. Okay. That's what it's important. We're going to keep reading for comprehension, but keep that in mind. So who else has found that in the section of the Constitution under supreme law of the land, it says that the United States is the supreme law of the land? Tell me the state. Just put the state in the chat that says it.
Will it be in section 2, or you just have to look through the entire thing?
Mine is under section 2.
Okay.
But know what it is that you're looking for. You're looking for this phrase.
Right.
The Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the land. So you can
Okay.
use the F function and search for supreme law or law of the land, or even just search for United States and see how many times the state constitution talks about the United States instead of talking about the state, letting you know what. If you're reading the state constitution, all they're doing is talking about the United States. What does that tell you?
Emotional outburst.
That the Constitution is the supreme law of the land.
Not just that, but that the state is only existing to implement the United States rules within their state. If I'm reading your state constitution, all they keep talking about is the United States. That means what are they enforcing?
Constitution.
Got to be enforcing the laws of the United States.
State is subordinate to the United States.
Not just subordinate. That's the only power you got. You better be enforcing some stuff on United States persons in own places owned by the United States.
In Tennessee, it has consistent with the Constitution of the
Boom,
United States. So
consistent
that's
with the
the
Constitution.
equivalent.
Please paste that in there and put the state. Post that in there and put the state, because I'm trying to. I hope that's basically the end of the thing. They're saying they can only make rules for the government. Then the state says that's the supreme law of the land.
Texas says that subject only to the Constitution of the United States.
There you go. That's what you're looking for. So it means every single thing else that they say has to be consistent with the Constitution of the United States. So if the United States Constitution says they can only make rules for the government, the Texas can't suddenly be like, and now I can make rules for Keisha, and I can make rules for Anthony when they're not at work for the United States, and I can make rules. I hope it's becoming clear.
I
Yes.
thought this was interesting in the Virginia Constitution. Section 17 of Article 1 says construction of the Bill of Rights, and it says the rights enumerated in this Bill of Rights shall not be construed to limit the rights of people not herein expressed.
There you go. That's the Ninth Amendment. Is it the Ninth or 10th Amendment? All powers not here in the enumerated are retained by the people or to the states or some shit. What is that, 9 or 10?
I think that's 10. Let me double check it.
They're all going to reflect similar things. So that's a good point to point out. Okay, thank you for the ones who are sharing it in the chat. Not the
Number 10. It's definitely
it's number 10. We're looking for the parts of the Constitution that says the United States is the supreme law of the land, or that the state constitution is subject only to the United States Constitution, or anything to that effect.
Maryland Article 2 of the Declaration of Rights.
Way to go.
It's not always going to be called supreme law of the land. That's why I told you to also search for United States and see where it comes up. If they're going to call it something else in other states, but it's going to be there.
Yeah, North Carolina says allegiance to the United States.
Allegiance to the United States. There you go. That's the section you want to put in
They
there.
got rid.
That's what you want to put in there right under your political powers inherent in the people and consent of the governed. You want to put that wherever it points to the United States being supreme, even to that state constitution. Because all these idiot cops we've heard say, we don't go by the federal, we just go by the state. Well, that's fine, dummy. Because guess what it say in the state?
Malika, in New York, it says it takes priority over any conflicting state laws.
There you go.
Is that the updated 2022 one from New York?
I believe so. Hang on.
So for
Does
Georgia,
not matter.
It doesn't matter, but
version
it
of it
seems
does
like it
not
is.
matter, because the new version cannot be inconsistent with the old version.
Oh.
It don't matter which version you have. It cannot be inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, which only had one amendment a long time ago, and none of them
Malik-
can go against it.
That's right. And it says further, it provides that state courts are bound by it and state state constitution
Of course,
subordinate to it.
it's
Yeah.
subordinate to it.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
it says
Those are the
leg-
types of terminologies you're looking for.
yeah,
So go ahead and put it in your notes. If you have not created the document, start it now. Go
Thank you,
back and watch
Melissa.
our last video. You'll be able to fill in what you might be missing.
Well, if you go to rule, I think it's 402 of the rules of evidence, it says something about the U.S. Constitution and the state. It alludes to the fact that those documents are already admitted as evidence in the court.
Yes, but sometimes you have to draw it forth and say
That's
that
90
you are aware of it.
It's 902.
Right. I was about to say that, trading. They have 602, 902. Oh, yeah.
I always mess it up. Don't. It's one of those though.
Yeah.
It's one of them rules of evidence.
We
It's
got
self-authenticating documents. That's what-
Self-authenticating documents is what it's called. All
So for
right.
Georgia, it says, Malika, it says legislative acts in violation of this constitution or the Constitution of the United States are void, and the judiciary shall declare them.
There you go.
That's section 2, paragraph 5.
They should
So
clear
there you
them.
go. You found it in section 2 as well. I don't remember what's well, this is article 1, section 2 for Washington. Wherever okay, so let's keep going, guys. So now everybody has found that section of the Constitution that recognizes that even the state constitution is subordinate to the federal. We're going to keep going for just a little bit more, because here's the other part I'd like for you guys to look for. Typically in the section of the Declaration of Rights or Bill of Rights, look for this section right here that says invasion of private affairs or home prohibited. I should put like the flashing lights emoji, right? What does this mean, my people? No person shall be disturbed in their private affairs or home invaded without authority of law.
That's in harmony with Bill of Rights 4.
The fact that they specifically say invasion of private affairs prohibited, and people out here got CPS in their house. If CPS is in your house, that means you're a public official. If CPS is in your house, that means your parental rights were assigned by the state and somehow became organized under the laws of the United States or a state. That means you are operating as a United States business.
And they must have a warrant if they up in your crib. Shit.
Well, you know, CPS dropped that new album by their rap group, you know, the CPS rap. The name of their album is called Want of Jurisdiction.
Want of jurisdiction.
You stupid.
I like my record better. How did you get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. They out here trying to sell your private house. How is that not an invasion?
Tennessee says the
Malika,
opposite, though. What does that mean? Our Article 9 says the legislator shall have the right to vest such powers in the courts of justice with regard to private and local affairs as may be expedient.
I don't understand what that says either, because I don't know, because we need to read it maybe. Is that where it says private homes prohibited? Private invasion of private affairs prohibited?
No, it's in Article 9. Sorry, I used the search function, and it says the legislature
Is it under the Bill of
shall have
Rights?
the right. Yes, ma'am.
It's under the Bill of Rights?
Yes.
Yeah, copy and paste it in the chat.
It's,
other people
I
can
did.
read it.
Section 9 in Tennessee.
You mean they have the right to be invited if I invite them to my personal affair, or they have the right to interfere?
Let's read it.
That's
She
what
put
I'm
it in the
trying to
chat.
get that's what I'm trying to get understanding about.
If it's in the
Okay.
chat, everybody can read it now. AIM says protection to person and property, equal protection. Protection to person and property is paramount duty of the government, shall be impartial and complete. No person shall be denied equal protection of the law. I don't too much like that one.
I have a question. Malika.
Okay, it says no provision of this charter and no action by any officer or employee of the county acting under its authority shall infringe upon rights, privileges, and powers reserved and guaranteed to individual persons or to the people by the Constitution of the United States or the Constitution of Tennessee. I like that one. I like that one. Yeah. See? Somebody like that charter, that Shelby County, Tennessee charter as much as I do.
What would they consider probable causes? Because I'm reading in my state constitution, section 6, it says the people should have the right to be secure in their persons, houses, paper, and other possessions against unreasonable searches, seizures, invasions of privacy, or interceptions of communication by eavesdropping devices or other means. It says no warrant shall issue without probable cause. What would be considered a probable cause supported
Okay,
by an
That's a
affidavit?
great question. And what's interesting is that's actually supposed to be our next conversation, probable cause. But I
Okay.
will say this before we get into anything else. What we have to realize is part the preliminary part of probable cause or anything suggesting that we might be bound to a statute is that we must be at work for the government or the land or naval forces at the time of the alleged act or omission. It's impossible to have probable cause if I'm not the agent that you're supposed to be looking at, talking to, holding accountable. You get it? In order for them to start investigating probable cause, I have to be who they could regulate. You have to have that squarely in your mind, or else you're going to start reading things about probable cause and you're going to start thinking that it makes them able to talk to you without your consent. Okay? Probable cause literally just means whoever they're accusing probably caused their injury. Does everybody understand?
But most times you have no
Probable
injury when they come in your house.
Probable cause simply means you probably caused damage. There has to be a probability that the damage somebody suffered is because of something you did or did not do. The problem is we have to be operating a United States business at the time in order for them to start investigating if we probably caused somebody else's harm. Unless, again, they have a warrant from a private man or woman who says another private man or woman damaged them. That's the probable cause. And that's a mirror of the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment says the same thing. No warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause. It also talks about not incriminating yourself and not being put in double jeopardy for a crime. Okay? So anybody else see it as simple as this? No person shall be disturbed in their private affairs. Let me see what you guys got in the chat. Probable cause and affidavit. A search warrant can only be issued on probable cause supported by affidavit, naming and describing the person and particularly describing the property and place to be searched. They only have search warrant. I guess that means they don't have arrest warrant. Did you find, okay, don't always look for supreme law of the land. Again, just look for where they're talking about the United States, because they may say things like laws not inconsistent with, except.
Are we still looking in the Constitution?
Whatever Constitution you have in front of you.
Hey, Malika.
Yes.
So in section 11 of Article 1 of the Virginia Constitution, where it talks about due process of law, obligation to contract, taking or damaging a private property, I think this is interesting where it says in all other cases, the taking or damaging a private property is not for public use if the primary use is for private gain, private benefit, private enterprise, increasing jobs, increasing tax revenue. So I find that interesting because when they tax you, when they're trying to take your stuff for taxes, if it's to increase the tax revenue, they can't do it. And also,
they're talking about tax revenue. That brings us back here out of the authority of the Secretary of Commerce and the Secretary of the Treasury.
Right, and then it also says in section 6 that says that all men have the right. It says have the right of suffrage. It cannot be taxed or deprived of or damaged in their property for public use without their own consent.
Right. They keep telling you, you had to have given consent, and the consent has to be in writing, which means it would have created a record. And that's why when we start just saying with our mouths when we're being arrested, I don't consent, we look in like we're trying to skirt our actual responsibility, because that's not when you're supposed to have consented or not. There's supposed to be a record. And a lot of us are waiting till we have a problem when we don't have to wait until we have a problem. You can ask the sheriff for the record that the specific address that they consider wherever you live is in their jurisdiction by the definitions in the statute, which require it to be public property. You can ask them that today. So then you don't have to figure out what you're going to say if they come to your house, because what you're doing is preventing them from ever coming to your house.
Not without calling them, right? Shit.
Without invitation.
Right.
If it's not by invitation, because that would be the consent. And then they better be here to help.
No problem.
Yo, let me suggest
Oh, yeah,
the city engineer and the county engineer too, because they take care of all the city's buildings and the county's buildings. So of
The
course they
city
would know.
building and the county building. That sounds like a good group of people to CC. You have to pull up the parts of the statute that say that the rules are for the government, like it says in that Shelby County, Tennessee preamble of the county charter. It says here in the county charter, you can only go onto county property. It says here in the county statute, you can only deal with issues of the county, which means that if there's no issue involved of the county at this address, this is not the county property. You shouldn't be here. Admit or deny.
So that means the county engineer should be able to verify if your apartment, home, condominium is within the county.
Yes. So if you put the definition of within the county and then you ask the county engineer for the documentary evidence that supports that it's in the county, and they send you back a letter saying no such records can be identified, you win.
Yo, if I can remind y'all, I sent something out to the city engineer, and they came back and they said that no government entity has interest in the property, and they came back in like 2 days.
That's the type of stuff you want. That's the type of evidence you need.
They already know that very well.
No, they don't.
Listen,
No, they don't, because
They
what
don't,
happened
Keisha.
was-
They don't.
and they were trying to tow that vehicle, and that tow truck was still on the property, and I called the police. They went through their whole, you trying to get involved in personal affairs and that didn't have nothing to do with them. And I was like, I don't, it really doesn't matter. They're still on the property, and I want them off, so they need to leave my stuff and go. And the officer eventually came back and told the tow truck guy that, if you were on the street, he literally told him, if you were on the street, I would, let you go. But because you're still on private property, you have to put it down and leave.
Yes. So they're aware that that's private property, but they're not aware that they're only supposed to be coming to private property with invitation from the property owner. They think if they have a bogus court order, it means that they could come onto your property. And that's not correct. If the order came from the court, and the court is a municipal court, and the municipality can only be concerned with property of the municipality, having the order from the court is proof that you're not supposed to be on my property, because that court only has power over public property.
And a good example is that when you connect to water services, you have to dig the line to the street address.
That's right.
For the water lines to come. So it's your responsibility on private property. If this is going to be your claim, you have to bring it to them so they can make the connection.
That's right. They're not going to go dig into your yard. So yes, they are aware of what private property is. They just think they could breach the threshold to private property upon command from a court that can only have authority over public property. That is what they're missing.
They're trying to make it seem like everything is public property.
No, they're
Everybody's
trying to
running
make
with
it seem like with permission from people that only have authority over public property, they suddenly can come onto private property. That's the problem. They think that there's a piece of paper that a public entity could give them that makes them able to breach private property, when the only way that that breach can happen is if they're invited by the private owner of that property.
So if they have the assumption that they can do that, they've actually skipped that preliminary hearing. Are you legally certified and are you legally qualified to accept that type of presumption? Right?
Correct. And that's why we have to know, like when we were doing the totality class, for everybody who's not taking our traffic blocking class, I highly recommend it, because in there, people ask questions like, what if they tow my car? How do I get my car to towing? You have to know that there are only two types of tows, public tow and private tow. Private tow requires a private invitation from the private owner of either the land that the car is on or the car itself. Only those two private people can invite you onto private property. Public tow requires that the property being towed, or at least the property it's on, to be public property. Same requirement.
Sounds like in rem.
Exactly, it's in rem, because
That's
they have
what
to
it is.
own it.
At law, in rem.
At law and in rem, that's right. So when they come onto private property to get anything. They have to ask permission. They have to be like, hey, private owner, our public property is on your private property. Can we get your permission to come and retrieve it? And then the private man or woman says, no, yes, you may, or only on Thursday, or whatever.
Hey,
Ooh, that's
lady.
that's
My
that
lady.
game up.
See, in Ohio, it says territorial jurisdiction no matter what tow law. So it
Well,
got
there
to be
you
within
go.
the
They gotta
territorial
have, that's what I'm saying. It has to be territorial jurisdiction. And when it's a private man or woman's yard, front yard, side yard, land, or whatever, you have to have permission, invitation from the private owner. And it's still territorial if it's their property. Again, they want to move your car off of the road. Even they still have to get territorial jurisdiction. Now, all jurisdiction is presumed until challenged, and unfortunately, they presume that they have jurisdiction over us. We presume they have jurisdiction over us. We just start talking, incriminating ourselves instead of pleading the fifth.
I plead the fifth.
So we're actually talking about the next section that I want you guys to look up, funny enough, which is eminent domain. That's just what we were talking about with this territorial jurisdiction. Private property shall not be taken for public use, except for private ways of necessity or drains, flumes, ditches on or across the land of others for agricultural, domestic, or sanitary purposes. Then it says no private property shall be taken or damaged for public or private use without just compensation having first been made.
No, you can't commandeer this vehicle.
Who's Emmett? I ain't Emmett. You Emmett?
That says they have to pay you first before they come take it. So by the time they show up to take it, and you go like this, it ain't no moolah, ducats, cheese, cheddar, cream.
That's actually called barony, and it's domain of a baron. They're trying to baron over you.
They're trying to dominate, like like we started off with, right? She won't let us dominate.
Be prepared to be dominated.
That's right. I
It really-
filed the case, dummy. Be
really-
prepared.
It really
It's
is.
like a duel. You take your glove and you.
It really is all about eats. It's all about eats. They're trying to eat you.
They telling you have to be paid before they come and take it. Are your
Not
parental
before.
rights your private property? Your parental rights your private property? Yes or no, my people?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if they want to take your parental rights, but you stuff your hand in your pocket and you couldn't find where they paid you, we need to be raising these, not even defenses. I mean, like, this is just preliminary stuff.
It's not even that they didn't pay. Well, it is that they didn't pay you, but it's also they told someone else to take it. So that other person's trying to charge you for taking it. They need to send a bill to the guy that did the ordering, right? Just like
Right.
a pill. I didn't order it.
So
Yeah, I'll take
find
it.
that part where it talks about eminent domain, where it talks about private property shall not be taken for private use. If a public official or officer shows up to your private property to take something, is that not for public use?
You cannot commandeer this land conveyance.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Virginia's right one under is under Title I, General Provisions, General Rules of Construction and Definitions, and for limitations of eminent domain. The first one says the property. It just says the right to private property being a fundamental right. The General Assembly shall not pass any law whereby private property shall be taken or damaged for public use without just compensation.
Yes.
Term public, the term mentioned in Article 1, Section 11 of the Constitution of Virginia is hereby defined as to embrace only the acquisition of property where, and then one it says property taken for the possession, ownership, occupation, and enjoyment of property by public or a public corporation. 2 says the property is taken for construction, maintenance, or operation of public facilities by public corporations or by private entities, provided that there is a written agreement with a public corporation providing for use of the facility by the public.
Right.
3,
So that's that public, what did Bobby call it? The private sector, where even though you're calling yourself a private business, you're really only open for public agents.
right. And then it says 3, it says the property is taken for creation, or functioning of any public service corporation, public service company, or railroad.
Right.
And then
That means they had to be building a railroad and your house is standing in the middle of it and they gave you $1 billion so that they could bulldoze it and make a railroad. Does
Right,
not
just
mean, it
compensation.
does not mean that a judge expanding his retirement portfolio of real estate management investment corporations can foreclose on your property so they could go bloop into his private retirement.
Right.
Motion
So if my
question.
hold on a second, if my possessory interest, if I'm sitting on my possessory interest of Mother Earth right here, if they wanted to put a railroad through here, I would have to do the okaying because I'm not of the whole collective bargaining that they can take the domain as a private sector or a public entity. I'm not of that. So to be of that, they could just jerk it out from under me because I'm in that sort of competition. I'm playing that game. But since I'm not playing that game, they would have to ask me specifically, can we do this for the betterment of the whole of the public trust? And I can say yes or no.
Yep.
Emotional outburst question since I just got read about Virginia. Is that not something that can be used to why you're not going to register your property at the pleasure of the governor? Am I the only one that heard that?
Well, yeah, the acquisition.
I mean,
part, right?
all of it is I mean, even this one says it. No person shall be disturbed in his private affairs or home or invaded without authority of law, which means if I didn't file my private shit into your public domain, don't
Correct.
talk to me.
Yeah. Why are you trying to interfere with private contracting when I didn't register the fucking contract?
Exactly.
And that's why when people again say you should register your property, you just need to get them listed as private. It's an impossibility. They cannot list as private because private property literally does not belong in there.
When it's on the
That's what
register,
they're saying.
when it's on the register, it's open to public scrutiny of 8 billion people on this planet.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's disturbing. I'm telling you, when I was laying there in that hospital bed almost a year ago, we have like literally 28 days from when I was diagnosed at the hospital, and I'm laying there thinking about all of you guys because I'm forced to listen to, because my neighbor, they have some type of disorder. They never turned the TV off. And I never turned my TV on. But anyway, I was there listening to an infomercial explain that the reason that they're stealing your property, we think it's the bank. It's not the bank. When you are under foreclosure, it's not the bank. It's the county. It's
But
the county
he just-
exercising eminent domain.
And he just read the definition. Remember, I was reading the public corporation. It defines the state as a public corporation.
Yes.
County being a municipal organization within the state.
That's
what it
right.
is.
So
So they, when the sheriff is showing up to evict you, when the constables are showing up to evict you, okay, they're agents of the county. It is the county exercising an eminent domain. They're gonna say, "Oh well, you owed the bank," but that's none of your business.
Exactly. 4-party debt collector.
That is
With no
not
authority,
literally
with
none
no
of your
authority,
business. And your
and no
charter
license
says you
to
can
take it.
only take an interest in public property. So
Right.
even if in order for it to be your business that I allegedly owed a bank, the property would still have to be for public use, or like
In Ram.
Jamie just read, it would have to be for a public accommodation still. Like you're turning it into a part of City Hall, you're turning it into a skating rink for all of the orphan kids in the town, or something like that.
It would already had to been that anyway.
Well,
Yes, it would already have to be that and then be foreclosed on for them to be able to show up. And so once they're showing up and it's not that, that is absolutely private taking, using public funds, using public funds for private use because
and
the
once you-
bank sent you.
Yeah, once you make them willingly and knowingly, what code was that? Willingly and knowingly that it's
Conspiracy.
not. Yeah.
That's why we have to give them notice. And that's why it don't matter if it's by a 57-cent stamp.
I know you're there. I know you're there.
I'm going to send you a letter saying, pursuant to these statutes, you can only have an interest in your public property. So what are you doing at my house? That you will admit, like my sister said, they will admit that it's private. They will, like the cop told the tow man. He came to get our big brother's truck, by the way. He tried to get our big brother's truck. We ain't let him. Again, you know? They don't know this. They literally do not know that it's not It's not that it's like it's exclusive for public. It's exclusive public, and the road ain't public unless he could prove that the state owns the road, and they can't prove that. That was just his cop out. Okay. So here, let's now start talking about the way that they get us to quasi act like, right? That we're in the public, and this is where people start saying like, I need to correct my status and all this stuff. It's linked through, and this is Article 2, Section 3. So it's going to be a different article for you guys. So Article 1 is the Bill of Rights. Article 2 is the legislature. In for Washington, Article 2 is the legislature. It might be Article 3 in another state, or it might be Article 4.
Georgia, it's Article 3.
It's Article 3 in Georgia?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's Article 2 in Washington. Article 1 is the Bill of Rights. Article 2 is the legislature.
The Bill of Rights in Georgia as well.
In most states, it's going to be Article 2 or 3. In other states, it's going to be Article 4. It's not going to be Article 5. So the legislature shall provide, look at what it says. The legislature shall provide by law for an enumeration of the inhabitants of the state. An enumeration of the inhabitants of the state.
That's powerful.
Who
Powerful.
do we know that, what agency runs the census, guys?
Commerce, the Department of Commerce.
I want to see if anybody else knows. Do you guys know that it's the Department of Commerce? Do you
Yes.
guys know it's the Department of Commerce?
I just
didn't
learned that
know.
yesterday.
Learned it yesterday. So how to know the Department of Commerce? If you actually look on any of the census, on the census applications or forms, if you just look at it, right on the bottom, it says Department of Commerce.
Yeah, go to their website.
That's right. If you go to the census website, it will say Department of Commerce. This is important because it means that in order for you to be enumerated as one of the inhabitants of the state, what do you have to be engaged in?
Interstate commerce.
In the census.
You have to be engaged in interstate commerce. Why? Because it says it right here. This is their limitation. So what do people think they're doing when they participate in the census? What do we think we're doing?
We're being
Helping out.
counted.
What do regular people think is happening?
I'm being a good
They're
person.
being counted for their states or counties population polls.
Well, they told
So that
me
they could put it on that little sign on the highway, right? Population. Like,
they told me it was so that they could get the funding
no,
to-
what do regular people think it is? Come on, guys. Somebody said farm animals. That's not what regular people think it is.
So you could be counted, so they could know how many people they're taking care of.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. They told me.
Yeah.
They told
And
me.
I'm over here like, I want y'all to leave me alone. I don't want to be counted.
Do you remember that lady that came to the house that said we didn't fill it out, so she needs to manually take it and we have to participate?
And I told her not to. I told her
That
not.
was the funniest conversation ever. So she's asking, could you tell me what your ethnicity is? Well, I'm South American. Well, that's not on the paper. Well, you're going to have to fix the paper.
Or leave me alone.
She did
Get
not
the
like,
fuck out of
"You're
here."
South American. She means you mean you're from the southern part of
Yeah, you're from
America?"
Georgia?
Oh, I'm from more south.
A little
Keep
bit
going.
further.
Keep going.
I tell them I'm not to be counted. None of my interests.
That's all
to
we
be
need to
counted.
tell them.
Yep.
We're not to be counted. Who knows the part of the Bible that says to not be enumerated?
And that's what I was trying to say about the inhabitants. Look, they say enumeration. The inhabitants must be enumerated for them to even consider them as pliable to their construct.
Exactly. This is
Yeah,
what's
put it up,
creating
dude.
the consent and the nexus, and people don't know that.
Can somebody, if anybody knows, can somebody tell us, put in the chat, where is that in the Bible?
Oh yeah, where you're not to be enumerated.
See what Deuteronomy or Numbers, but I'll double check. All you got to do is just type in enumerated in Bible Gateway, and it should generate.
If you put in enumerated or enumerate it, in Bible Gateway, like you said, or even on the search engine, you will see where there's a Bible verse that talks about not being enumerated or not allowing yourself to be part of this. You know, this is how you become an inhabitant of the state. You have to be participating in the interstate and foreign commerce, because you see what it says? Look for that section. Tell me what it says in your Constitution, guys. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read what it says in Washington. The legislature shall provide by law for an enumeration of inhabitants of the state in whatever that year is, and every 10 years after, and at the first session of such enumeration, and also after each enumeration is made by the authority. Look at the authority, guys. The authority of the United States. Now, why doesn't it say the authority of the state of Washington? Because they are obviously only a service corporation, sub-corporation for the United States. That's
Yeah.
why they're calling themselves the state of Washington, as in the United States, the section, an embassy of the United States in Washington.
Yeah, because they control all the debt obligations of the United States, which all assets, legal assets, are debt obligations. That's why people thinking they're creditors, they're still king debtors. That's all they are in the private sector. A debtor is a debtor.
What? Don't
Yeah.
tell Yusef L that.
Decided that he was correct in trying to wipe out people's debt for the student loan. Can somebody tell him he was right?
Say that again.
Can somebody tell Biden he was right for trying to pay the bill for the student loan?
Oh, yes, right. Biden was trying
to do something right.
Biden.
Come on, Brandon. Come on.
Come on, Brandon.
Look, guys, it says enumeration made by the authority of the United States. So who are they counting? It has to be these citizens of the United States, no? Isn't that what they have to be counting?
Correct. But they surely have regular private people proclaiming to be citizens that they don't even know what
it says, because it can only be made by the authority of the United States if it's only counting those in the jurisdiction of the United States. Hello? Does anybody find this part of their state constitution? Let me see you guys. Let me see you post those parts of the state constitution. Let me see if y'all still paying attention. Just hang up. I could just hang up.
In Florida, in what is this? Article 10, Section 8, it says the census. Each decennial census of the state taken by the United States shall be an official census of the state.
So they still tell you it's for the United States. So does that mean they could only be counting these persons right here?
Yeah, by consent.
These persons right here? Come on. Under the Secretary of Commerce, because it's the Department of Commerce that's running the census.
They are reckoning them people. They are rendering.
If the Department of Commerce is sponsoring the census, in my comprehension, I don't know if everybody's having the same comprehension, but the Department of Commerce is running the census. The Department of Commerce says they have authority over United States businesses. United States businesses are just defined as United States citizens.
They're running a Ponzi scheme. Lottery.
Do you guys see why going in there talking about I'm a living, breathing flesh and blood? It does not make any sense whatsoever except nonsense.
Number 406554. Sit down, please.
Right. Because that's the number of the census.
Get contemporary for him.
Look, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. You're rattling. A pitter patter. Get out of here.
Do you see why when people say just authenticate your birth certificate and slide it into the case? Does everybody see why that does not make any sense?
That shit's not funny.
That shit is funny, Charles.
Come on, Jenny. Come on, Jenny. Tracy put 8675309. That's perfect.
I laugh.
Right.
Jenny, I got your number.
Yes. 8675309. Take your ass to the back of the line.
That shit always works sometimes.
It always works sometimes, right?
Always sometimes.
So tell me, Charles, how hard did you have to slam the birth certificate on the table for it to be effective?
I did a fully move.
What?
You know I slammed the shit out of it.
You slammed his head like a domino card.
He stung his hand. That's how.
He motherfucker.
Did you do it like the Trump spade, though?
Or do you teach the dance, the birth certificate slide at every family reunion?
Oh, the birth certificate slide. We got to do that at the next SPC conference.
Oh my God. Yeah, we gotta write that song.
Oh, too funny. The SPC conference.
It is though. We're gonna do that at our next UCC one party.
At our next self-governance.
Oh my God, yes, our next self-governance. We're gonna all hold hands and talk about how we're gonna be IRS whistleblowers.
Holders in due course.
All of our W4 sandwiches.
We're gonna start throwing
Big
sandwiches
predator
at 'em.
on the
I will say that the 1099 non-employee compensation is very attractive. I might file one of those because that's charging you for making me act like one of your employees, but you didn't pay me. Oh, you want me to wear this mask? Like the rest of your employees? Sure, I'll wear the mask. Oh, yes,
falls
sir.
under the
Please give me my
W-4
compensation.
Can you hear me?
What'd you say?
I said that falls under the W4 sandwich too, so that it falls also with the disqualification. The
Yeah,
W4.
that's what they say, but I'm not filling out nothing that requires me to put a EIN or SIN. I'm not doing it. I'm not whatever
You know,
if it involves that, I'm not doing it.
On balance, if they draft you into the military, they pay you. If they draft you into jury duty, they pay you. You drive at the pleasure for free.
Yeah, I'm not driving at the pleasure. I'm not doing it. So if you guys find the part of the census, the part that talks about that one that somebody read, I hope you posted it in the chat as well, because that's funny.
Not
Right.
funny, Maryland.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. That's why I haven't done it. Yeah, you have audios at how to fill it out, but who has filled it out and gotten compensation? No one. People who go and look up the stuff I showed them to go and look up, and they put it in a notice and they send it to judges. It gets them off the bench. It gets them committing crimes on the public record, knowingly and willingly, which makes them liable and culpable. It removes their alleged immunity, and you start kicking ass. Nobody who's done those 1099 sandwiches could come and be like, Malika, here's my check from the Treasury, or here's better yet, here's a check on my account at the Treasury. They can't do that.
Oh no, I filed a 1099 for $38,000 in profit for the city, and then I took it to the federal bankruptcy court because I said that they weren't going to pay in 90 days. The lawyers came running down the hall looking for me, begging me not to go in the court. They looked like they were going to die.
They probably would have. Why didn't you file it?
They were turning green, and all I know is this: is that you send them the bill. You got 90 days. If they don't pay in 90 days, the judge only wants to know one question: why didn't you pay? And if they don't pay, they get sanctioned, and they're the ones going to jail.
When sanctions get paid, whose pocket does the sanctions go into?
It goes into my pocket.
Does it? Have you ever been paid from violating sanctions or having them violate sanctions?
Actually, what happened was the tow company owner left town, left the state. What they did was they put my truck out on the street, and I said, I want all the paperwork showing what you did with it. And they said, we don't know you. It never existed, and don't fuck with us. You know, who are you? And all of that, everything.
Well, I know
And-
that's real only because it also happened to us. When we challenge them, they start saying, we don't know them. We've never heard of that woman in our life.
Yes, what they do. You know, I could have forced them to pay it, but I decided that since I whooped their ass right then and there, I wasn't going to do it. I was just satisfied.
Respect.
So nobody was saying. So nobody has been paid for sanctions. Period.
Correct. Because it's not all about getting paid, right? Y'all know that that's what I always say.
Absolutely.
It's not always about getting paid. There's people
It's about being
selling.
open.
There are people selling that it is about getting paid. Y'all understand the difference? There's people selling that it is about getting paid, and then no one's gotten paid. So it can't be about getting paid.
I want the bonds. I want my
I want the bonds. I want
My
their bonds.
security.
And here's the thing that I think is hilarious about the bonds. Those bonds that everybody's looking for, they're only like $2,000, $3,000.
50,000 is the highest I've seen.
No, that's what the bond is for, or like what it covers. But you're not gonna get that amount.
It doesn't
Right.
cover anything. It doesn't
Right, they're
cover
not to
anything.
really cover anything. They're not real. Like there's handyman businesses that the bonds are $200 a year. What's that supposed to cover? What exactly is that
Nothing.
supposed to cover? Come on,
Nothing.
it's just for show. Oh, are you bonded? Oh, why? Yes. I don't have to tell you I only paid $100 for that shit for the whole year.
You can write a bond in your own handwriting.
You can.
It covers the lower people, the bondsmen, to do the service. They get their cut out of that.
The circus. Okay, so you guys are finding the part where it talks about the census, so that you could see. Look at what it says here. The legislature shall apportion and district anew members of the Senate and House of Representatives according to the number of inhabitants, excluding Indians not taxed, soldiers, sailors, and other officers of the United States Army and Navy in active service. There they go again, talking to you about having to be in the military, and then excluding if they're in active duty, but not excluding the ones that are not in active duty but are still in the military. These are the inhabitants. These are the inhabitants.
We need the federal constitution as well, because if I was just looking at my state constitution, I wouldn't be able to put that together with the federal
Right, with this
constitution.
up here.
Yeah, because mine is under redistricting. And how I know it goes with that, because it's talking about the decennial census, which is every 10 years. Yeah, and it didn't say 10 years, it's just said decennial.
Well,
And I went to look it up
10
so
years.
that I know it went in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's awesome. Okay. So I'm glad we're here, because the last part I'm going to show you guys is really going to blow your minds. All right. So we got the lands, we got the census. Everybody seen the census? Okay. So now check for where it says the style of the state laws. The style of state laws, where it's supposed to say, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of whatever. And now that I'm reading this, it really makes me understand why, or should say, the difference between the state of Washington, as in the United States embassies in the state of Washington, as opposed to Washington State. This is the legislature of the DC Corporation Embassy in Washington State.
They're two different things. State of Washington and Washington State are definitely two different entities.
The state of Washington is a USA subcorporation. Washington State is all the places that are in the de jure fictitious borders. Okay. This part here is important because they always try to enforce these statutes that are not enacted with something that says this simple sentence. And they're telling you that if it is a law, it has to say it was enacted by the legislature of the state of Washington.
Right.
They don't even say that.
They'd be like, we adopted some shit.
Yes, it's adopted. It's like, I don't care. When did it become enacted? Oh, it never did. It's just adopted. Okay, well,
they're-
get out of my face.
So the state is the foster parent.
Parents patriae of the enumerated inhabitants, verified by the Secretary of Commerce.
The foster, the oyster, the black pearl.
The
That's
foster
how they
oyster.
That's how they enforce the criminal law with no corpus delicti, is parents patriae.
Yes, but we have to know whose office it's run through. It's running through the governor's office.
Wow,
So-
that's in just a article by itself. It says the enumeration in this constitution of specified powers and functions shall not be construed as a limitation of powers of state government. That's all I say. But this is exactly where it is. It said Section 2, Article 2, Section 2, powers of government. But they put them all together. They
Okay.
put the legislative, executive, and judicial all
Okay.
together.
Am I the only one that hears accounting though? Like you do data, you gather your data in the legislature, then you do your managerial accounting with the executive, and then the
Yeah.
judicial.
That's called legwork.
Look how many times they use the word enumeration in the one paragraph. Enumeration, enumeration, enumeration. Who found the part of the Bible where it says to not enumerate yourself?
Yeah, I sent that when I looked up the enumeration. It's a link that's in the chat. Let me see how far back it is. Looks like it's
Cause
about
I
40.
didn't find it. I looked.
What's in there?
Listen,
yeah.
every time you see enumeration, you can replace that with Americanization.
Wowzers. Here it is. Let me copy this, and this is where it
Good one,
shows.
Tracy. Tennessee residents counted by the census are subject to the Tennessee state and United States federal laws. Federal laws apply in Tennessee as they do across all 50 states. In addition, the United States Constitution, which is the supreme law of the United States, federal law includes statutes that are periodically codified in the United States Code. So don't let no policy officer tell you, oh, we don't use the Constitution here. We
Sound
go
like
by the state constitution. Yeah. And if you read the state constitution, dummy, you would see it says that the United States is the supreme law and that the state constitution is subordinate there too.
So you're probably right, absent contract, but motherfucker, I ain't got a contract with you, so
Sure don't.
therefore, what are you going to use?
I'm going to use this brute force. I'm going to flash you my gun.
Mafia, break the
I'm going to
law.
flash you my gun.
Yeah, you don't have to flash me your arms, bro. I'll go with you. Take me to your leader right now. Yeah.
Right?
I'm gonna bully you. That's what they do.
I'm gonna bully you. Charles remind me of my oldest son. My oldest son would if we wouldn't have taken him out of school, he would have been a bully. He's 6'3" right now, and he's always been growing like this. Okay, he would have been a bully. So I'm glad we took him out of school. He would have been a bully, and his brother would have been bullied. And if anybody bullied his little brother, he was gonna beat you up. So I was already seeing this playing out in my mind, and I'm like, I gotta get my kids out of school. I gotta get my kids out of there. Okay, so we're gonna move on. That's the part you guys are looking for. The next part you want to look for is ownership of land by aliens prohibited. Ownership of lands by aliens or ownership of land is what you want to look for.
That's why ET had to go home. He knew he couldn't own anything down there.
Because all you're going to see throughout the Constitution of your state is references to the Constitution and the citizens of the United States over and over and over. How many times does your state constitution mention the word United States?
Control F search. We'll find on this page search. But wouldn't the aliens be those saying that they're going to break the law by trying to force you to volunteer for some shit that you don't have
Ooh.
Either aliens. I know it looks like alien, but I can only see aliens.
Land owned by aliens.
Trying to lean upon your unalienable rights.
Why are they talking about ownership of land by aliens? They don't talk about ownership of land by non-aliens. In the Constitution, they don't talk about any other type of or status of land ownership, I should say.
Cause you're not a fucking citizen.
But you see, they do mention good faith. Because it is very important.
And alienate.
All right. So I'm going to read this section while you guys look for your own to paste into your document. Ownership of lands by aliens prohibited. Exceptions, they even talk about. The ownership of land by aliens, other than those who in good faith have declared their intention to become citizens of the United States, is prohibited by this state. So you have to be or promise in good faith to become.
I promise I'm going to become a business.
A United States business.
I promise I'm going to become a business.
I promise I will start a business. That's why these gurus say, go ahead, guys, go now, start your business. I'm like, nah, yo. Nah, not me. NAME. Nah, not me.
We did that once, didn't we? Or more than once.
I mean, like I said, I did it more than once intentionally, but I'm not going to do it to exercise my God-given rights.
They don't mix, folks.
Anybody telling you got to incorporate, do a DBA, get a 98 EIN, start a trust, I'm going to need you to show me where the law says that's what private people are supposed to do to exercise their God-given rights.
We got one guy.
Article 6 of the Constitution, because that would be a religious test.
We got one guy telling folks right now, currently on Telegram groups, I think his name's Creed, to go out and start a business, fall in love and start a business go out in an endeavor and fall in love with it. I'm like, isn't that the fucking problem? People don't know what love is, but they're gonna fall in love with the thing, a process. What the hell?
Wow. Well, I don't
is
even
that
know what
that?
to say about that. If
I know it.
anybody wants to know how to start a business, let me just put it out there. I'm your girl, right? I'm not here to teach that, but it's not a mystery. It's not a mystery.
No, it's not. Yeah, you can go to
I've
the
been doing this since I was 18.
Business Bureau will tell you all about it.
I was all with the starry eyes. I bought my first home in my 20s. I bought my second home in my 20s. What the hell? Can't nobody
That's
tell
how
me
I
how to
found out.
start a business, make a successful business. I already know how to do all that. But that has
That's how I
absolutely
found out
nothing
how
to
to.
do with exercise your God-given rights to go get that broccoli, even if they put it behind some AC and wrapped it in plastic without having to be an EIN or operating business or doing imports and all this nonsense on behalf of the census.
Hey, bro,
That's
you
how I
can't.
found out how to collect debt from the city was through a book called Business Law. It tells you the whole thing.
Yes, and they also tell you in a similar book how to collect judgments, period. Like I tell people all the time,
Right.
my father bought that book for all of us to read. He read it, he gave it to me, he gave it to my sister, and she's still on here. Again, I was already in my second house reading how to become a debt collector. Come on, let's not even talk about that. Let's try to keep y'all from being prey from people who were like, I like how I used to be. Okay, stop
Washing
being
up.
prey, man. Look, the next section I want you guys to look for is the yes, where it says, did anybody find it? Where it talks about land ownership of aliens prohibited.
I'm still looking for it. I'm looking for
Okay,
it.
so it says ownership of lands by aliens other than those who will become a business of the United States is prohibited.
Yeah, I'm still looking. There's no word alien in the Minnesota code.
Right.
What about land ownership? It doesn't have to be by aliens.
Yeah, it won't
No.
say land. It won't say ownership. There's no ownership. Just
Even
own.
Maryland. None of that either.
There's no own lands, land ownership. That's not there.
Is that going to be underneath the legislation section?
I have it under Article 2, which is the legislative section. Yes.
Thank you.
Article 2 is the legislative section for
Would
Washington.
would that be under appropriation?
I don't know.
Land?
Is that in your legislative section? Because it's under legislation.
Well, that's what I see, but they're talking about appropriations. They just have appropriations.
Okay, so do a search for like United States citizen or citizen of the United States.
Okay. Thank you. I yield.
Wow, I just found something interesting. And it's kind of not related, but it kind of is. As far as divorces and special legislation in courts.
Oh yeah, I know what part you're talking about. I didn't include that part, but I know what part you're talking about. So here goes. Except, so there's an exception. There's an exception to the prohibition for aliens owning land without claiming or becoming businesses. Okay. The exception is except where acquired by inheritance under mortgage or in good faith in the ordinary course of justice in the collection of debts. This is why the attorneys, which are aliens, okay, able to pretend, like Charles always says, to be the heir in these probate courts and claim that it's justice in the collection of debt. They also claim it's in good faith. This is where the attorneys try to write their own self into the Constitution to be able to take your shit.
May the force be with you, my.
Say that again?
I said, may the force be with you, my friend.
Yeah, but the force be with you when you try to do that shit, right? Because look at it.
Yeah.
And all conveyances of lands thereafter made to any alien directly or in trust, which is why they always assign themselves as the substitute trustee in these non-judicial foreclosures. The aliens, the attorneys, they're pretending to be the heir that's inheriting it under a mortgage in good faith in the collection of debts. They wrote this shit and wrote themselves into it. All conveyances of lands hereinafter made to any alien directly or in trust for such alien shall be void, provided that the provisions of this section shall not apply to lands containing valuable deposits of minerals, iron, coal, or fire clay. for the necessity of mills and blah, 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 which is all interstate and foreign commerce.
Do y'all say anything special about non-resident aliens who are citizens of Syria and Lebanese Republic may
No.
inherit property? Yeah, from citizens and residents of state of Mississippi.
Nah, that ain't nothing. Because you
So-
still have to be part of the military, and they're only tracking you in that sense so that they can control espionage. So
So
this is
instead
how
of
you
in-
know they're talking about corporations. This is how you know they're talking about businesses and corporations. It says every corporation, the majority of the capital stock, blah, 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 which is owned by aliens. They talking about a corporation owned by alien shall be considered on an alien for the purpose of this prohibition. The corporations owned by aliens shall be considered an alien for the purpose of this prohibition. They're talking about corporations here, not people. That's why citizens of the United States means a business. And that's again why it's important that we are aware of these definitions. And we know we have the right definitions because it says right here, the federal government is supposed to be implementing interstate and foreign commerce, regulating interstate and foreign commerce. Here we are under the authority of the Secretary of Commerce. That's how we know we're in the right place. They start talking about the census and the state constitution. And then right under there, they start talking about citizens of the United States. That's how we know we're connecting the census to businesses to citizens of the United States. You got to watch last week. I hope you still got your state constitution and you're looking up the parts we're going over, because after you watch last week, you'll be able to fill in the blank. Okay. So here's another part of the Constitution, guys. This is under Article 2. This is the legislature still. So we're still talking about the jurisdiction of the legislative branch. They over here talking about aliens, citizens of the United States. And then again, they bring up the Bureau of Statistics, Agriculture, and Immigration. There shall be established in the office of the Secretary of State a Bureau of Statistics, Agriculture, and Immigration. Why are those things all together? Statistics, agriculture. Remember somebody said, I think it was Hassan and Bobby talking about it sounds like an accounting
Yeah, it seems like they're keeping count of something.
with the census and the land bank. Statistics, agriculture, and immigration under such regulations as the legislature may provide.
Definitely accounting.
That's their Bureau of Statistics, as in Bureau of Vital Statistics. And we be out here reporting our children as livestock on agricultural and immigration. Immigration is when they have you fill out that SS5, which is a form that we think is just to apply for an SSN. But as we are learning, when we look at the definition of you in that same section where they talk about who can be assigned to SSN, only one who owes a debt to the United States can be given such account, be made to such account, be held to such accounting.
Them motherfuckers is in trillions of dollars of debt. Yeah, we ain't no shit.
Yeah, they are. And so they have to try to make merchandise out of us. There's nothing else to sell. There's nothing else to sell except the fear of a man or woman that's going to get up and go to work and do stuff that they do not wish to do with people they do not wish to be around for an amount that they feel themselves is not adequate. There's
Wearing
no
a
other
mask.
way to get you to go than to get you to pretend to be doing all this nonsense.
And wearing a mask.
And getting the jab. And getting the jab.
I think
But
everyone
don't
should,
forget the jab, yo.
I think everyone should watch After Earth with Will Smith so you can kind of see that the fear thing is in your nation.
I think people just do it for excitement.
They get high off of fear. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and the gnashing of their teeth. They feel like, look at us. They feel like, they're the extra in the movie and shit.
Gotcha.
Those of us on this call, we out here eating the popcorn and watching the show. The actors on stage are trying to invite us up onto the stage. We're like, nah. I'm just here to watch. Other
Nah,
people are
we-
like, oh
we-
yes, I want
we-
my 15 minutes of fame. I'm
Dog,
gonna
we
go
was
and
doing
act.
the Tuskegee experiment, dog. I can't fuck with you.
That's what you need to say.
I remember the chicken pox or the pox in the blanket. I can't fuck with you.
Oh my God, you remembering the smallpox given by the
Smallpox.
blanket?
I can't fuck with you.
No
Well,
thanks, Pilgrim.
My mama said, don't go down there playing with them white folks.
Well, it's weird how it happens, but you got to be wary of people. It's not always so clear cut. I'll tell you that. Because right now, the same thing's happening here is happening to people in China, especially. They were going along to get along. And
Hell no.
nobody could claim it's racism over there.
That's kind of.
Nobody can claim it's racism over there. But there, guess what? The same exact shit that's happening to us is happening over there. They're just not being distracted by the so-called race. We like talking about bullshit that don't matter here. So we think we could just tell who's evil and who's not by the shade of the amount of melanin they have in their skin. We think that's what it make it easy. What the fuck you think the people over in Arabia saying? What are the people over there in China saying? Watch out for the ones with the slanted eyes. They might get you. Watch out for the yellow-skinned ones. They might get you.
Okay. Let's fuck with them governments.
When someone's throwing shade, it's only one color.
Exactly. Miss.
Charlie Murphy.
One of the things I also want you guys to look for in the Constitution is protection of employees. That's literally what it says in Washington. Protection of employees. I mean, straight up. And protection of employees.
Wow.
Can't make it
Straight up.
today.
That sounds like employees. Employees.
Plowers. Those that plow.
The legislature shall pass necessary laws. My God, they can pass them for the protection of persons working in mines, factories, and other employment dangerous to life or delirious to health. Who are those workers? Who can say who some of these employees are?
Bitcoin people undermining. Let me stop.
Mining the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Coal miners' daughters.
What are some of these employments dangerous to life or delirious to health? Deleterious to health? The police. Who else?
An attorney.
Who else, guys? That's dangerous to life or deleterious to health.
Girl.
Who else?
Firemen.
Constables.
Who else?
Judges.
Yeah? Dangerous to life and deleterious to health?
Firemen.
Yes, somebody said that. How about doctors?
Yeah, doctors.
Nurses?
Anybody taking money? Anybody taking money? Shit.
What about bus drivers? Is that employment dangerous to life or deleterious to health?
Well, I know they told me
Train
don't get it.
workers, electricians.
I know the doctor told me not to get in 3 professions. Don't become an attorney or a lawyer. Don't become a doctor, and don't become a clergy. So I would say them.
Okay.
Physicians.
Because they do all wear uniforms, do they not?
Yeah, they always in costume.
But look, doctors and nurses wear scrubs. That's a uniform, is it not?
Yep.
Firemen wear uniforms. Judges wear uniforms.
They wear dresses.
That's their uniform.
That's what subjects them to the
But
fair
look,
day.
guys, it says, and fix pains and penalties for the enforcement of the same. They tell you straight up. Anybody else can find this in the state constitution?
In New York, I found it in section 1, actually underneath the Bill of Rights. It's not
Okay.
even underneath my legislation.
It
And they
talks
have it
about
labeled-
employment deleterious to health and dangerous to life.
They have it as workers' compensation.
Okay, good, very good.
Oh yeah, Ohio got it too.
And then they
good.
have a section that says labor not a commodity. But
That's
that's
15 USC 17. Let me show y'all. It says energy of a man is not a commodity. I think Jamie posted that recently. Right? Is it 17 or no? What? I got the wrong one.
15.
Oh, it's 15, not 17?
I
Oh no, it's
posted
right here.
it.
Look.
Okay.
Labor of a human being, not a commodity, or article of commerce. How y'all like that?
That's saying a whole lot.
I know y'all love me. Nerdiness was gonna come in hand for some people.
Guess when it becomes a commodity? When you put it, when you start hipping it, when you make it into a ship, a spiritual hip. What do you do? What do you do when you start hipping something? It's a baby. You got a baby on your hip. So if you start navigating these waters with a ship, that falls literally under the law of naval law. of navigable waters.
I'm gonna still.
So Bobby, that's what the women do. The women carry the babies on the hip.
Right, and that's what they incepted that after that theory of creating a baby, borning something. When you born something, that means you're saying you're impregnated. I'm a male. Can I be impregnated? Sure can. In my thoughts and spirits.
Of doctrine.
Not literally, but you're right. In your thoughts.
So we're not under the Department of, like, when we just going to work, just regular work, regular job, not engaged in a United States business. Our work is not a commodity or article of commerce. So it cannot be regulated by the Secretary of Commerce because they can only regulate businesses. When you go to work for your regular job, you are not operating as a business. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The gurus would like to make you think that you are, and you should be. But if you operate as a business, your labor is a commodity of commerce and regulated by the Secretary of Commerce because you're going to need them licenses under the Trading with the Enemy Act that we won't get into today. But this part right here, I'm glad you guys are finding it, talking about wherever it is. I'm just showing you where it is in Washington. That's the reason why I included the whole section. So even if it's not under Article 2 for yourself, you can still look for the words and find wherever it is.
Yeah, because I was over here in the struggle looking for New York.
Yeah. Yeah, New York is a kind of a struggle. Even though a lot of it does mirror the federal constitution almost exactly verbatim. There are lots of parts of the New York Constitution that's like somebody was like, just copy paste it. Just copy paste it from the federal. Right?
13.
Here's another. Okay, so last time we went over the fact that the governor is the commander in chief of the military. Everybody was able to find that in their state constitution under Article 3, 4, or 5, depending on where the executive section is of the state constitution. But here's another thing I want you guys to look for in any section of your constitution. This is in Article 25 in Washington, but it literally is just called jurisdiction. It literally
Mississippi
is
called
just
jurisdiction and holidays.
Huh?
It's called in Mississippi is jurisdiction and holidays.
Jurisdiction and holidays. All right.
Wow.
Please share in the chat what it's coming up for yourself. I hope you guys are starting to see the connection between the fact that they're only counting these citizens of the United States. These citizens of the United States are United States businesses, which are corporations organized or created under the laws of the United States or any state. That's the only thing that they're supposed to be counting. That's who their taxpayers are. And what are they paying taxes for? The privilege. It seemed like the privilege of impersonating Congress to collect taxes. Because every business you go to, ain't that what they charge you?
Absolutely.
And the whole thing they charge you is the tax. The whole thing, not the, this is the price, and then the price times X%. No, the whole thing, the whole bitch.
Yep, the whole thing is the tax.
The whole amount.
That's why Trump was the best president they could have ever.
The best prime resident of all time.
Right.
I keep telling people, why do you think you gotta like his personal life? Why do you think you have to like everything that he says? Why you think you gotta approve of every single business move he makes in order for him to be the best president for this military corporation?
They don't look like Indians to me. Let me stop.
He sure did. They don't look like Indians. They don't look like Indians. They don't look like Indians to me.
He was spilling the beans on accident. What?
Shut him up. Shut him up. That's
Them
what
look like
somebody back
niggas-
there.
them look like
Look at
Negroes
my
to me.
furrows of worry, like Bill Hicks said, right? I want you guys to find this part about jurisdiction. It's so very important because, again, as I'm trying to drill home to everyone so we're no longer confused, don't worry if this is your first video. Go back and watch the other ones in the previous Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to go back and give it a hashtag that'll be easily searchable for everybody to find
Okay.
this series because everybody needs to watch it. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. Would that be under specific
Absolutely.
limitations?
Would that be
Would
what?
that be under specific limitations of the government?
Mine just comes up under jurisdiction,
Okay.
Article
I'm-
25.
Mine just say that the governor is the record keeper.
Well,
It's-
that's good. That's good.
But that's what it says.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It says that they shall keep the public records and maintain a residence at the seat of government during their term of office.
Then you already know who to get the records request from.
Right.
Yeah.
Bureau just means drawer or cabinet with files.
Hand me that record over there on the nightstand, please.
Right. Here, let me slide you this birth certificate as payment. Okay. Under the jurisdiction, here's another phrase to search for: authority of the United States. Because that's literally what the jurisdiction says. In the Washington State Constitution, the jurisdiction is all about the authority of the United States, not the authority of the state of Washington, not the authority of Washington State, but the authority of the United States, letting us know clearly the agenda and the subject matter of their enforcement. Here it says the consent of the state of Washington is given to the exercise by the Congress of the United States. So that's letting you know that the United States is still the puppeteer. The United States Congress is still the puppeteer of whatever this state of Washington is.
Yeah,
Is everybody seeing that clearly? The consent of the state of Washington is hereby given to exercise by the Congress of the United States the exclusive legislation over all cases. And now let's see what those all cases are. Tracts and parcels of land now held in reserve by the government of the United States for the purpose of, my God,
Tracks and
for
parcels.
the purpose of erecting and maintaining thereon forts, magazines,
Erect.
arsenals, dockyards, lighthouses, and other needful buildings in accordance with the provision of the 16th paragraph of the 8th section of the 1st article of the United States Constitution. Right there.
Wow.
They tell you in the state constitution that they're enforcing Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17.
Bam.
Oh, we don't go by the federal constitution. We don't even look at the federal. All we go by 100% is the Washington Constitution. Great, motherfucker.
They must love
Because
to take-
in the Washington Constitution, it says under the jurisdiction that it is the 17th paragraph of the 8th section of the 1st clause of the United States Constitution. Right there. That's why we start there. That's why we pick those sections of the Constitution, because those sections of the federal Constitution is in the state Constitution, literally under jurisdiction. And guess what else? This is the only section for jurisdiction. This is the only thing the jurisdiction says. So what are they doing at your house? Is it a dockyard? Is it an arsenal?
Port.
Is it a lighthouse?
They trying to talk to you about the Lord with a watchtower.
That's right. Their Lord.
Their Lord. They look who protects them.
Which is the
Our
government.
Lord, who art thy governor. Hallowed be thy name.
Howard B his name.
Right, or whatever his name is.
Fucking Howard.
Inslee is his name. Okay. How many times do we have to read that they're only supposed to be dealing with military stuff before we stop making the argument of I paid, I wasn't late, I'm a good mom, I'm alive?
You know, if you said that, Malenko,
How many times are we going to have to see that they're only supposed to be talking with, dealing with the government of the United States, no less, agents? You have to be either a state agent regulating the United States agents or a United States agent yourself.
Gotta be Jake from State Farm.
Yes, Jake from off the State Farm.
Is this Jake with the khakis? Taka.
And look what
Tan.
it says. Look what it says on the jurisdiction. Look and see who could be served process, and provided that all civil process issued from the courts of this state and such criminal process may be issued under the authority of the state when they put the state of is the plaintiff against
So if-
any person charged with a crime in a case arising outside of reservations may be served and executed thereon in the same mode and manner and by the same officer as if the consent herein given had not been made.
So if the governor ain't put his so-called signature or autograph to that joint, it don't exist. It's not
Well,
even.
Yeah, and if the governor did put his name on it, it means he's talking to the military. And if you cannot find the record in which you enroll
yeah, an
when you're
article.
getting
Why you
mail from the
talking to
governor's
me?
office,
I mean, she's reading an article here. So the articles, all articles are of three things within their system. They're a system of rules established by legal authority as articles of war, articles of the Navy, or articles of faith. They fall under three things. That's their trinity.
come on now. They're telling you that the only land in the jurisdiction of United States can even be registered. Look what it says here. So long as the same shall be held or reserved by the United States. They're talking about the land. Providing that a sufficient description by metes and bounds and an accurate plat or map of each such tract or parcel of land be filed in the proper office of record in the county. Please tell me, those gurus telling you, just take your deed off the county and then authenticate it and then file it back.
Land patent. Land patent.
What is that
Get
telling?
4
They're telling you
copies.
about land patents.
Land patent.
Bullshit, because they're telling you that anything that is described in meat or bounds, or because even my friends, my close friends, if you want it out of their jurisdiction, you got to plot it in meats and bounds. No, stop the nonsense. If you file it in the proper office that only land under the authority of jurisdiction, under the authority of the United States is supposed to be filed, then you are in fact saying by the filing, by the recording, speaking to the people who say, oh, well, you don't know the difference between recording and registering, Malika. Yes, I do fucking know. I know that if you put it on the record of the county, okay, it's presumed to be public. I know that for certain. And I
They
don't
don't
care how you write on the side and on the back and you put a stamp and all that bull.
They don't
They're telling
understand.
you right here that it becomes under the jurisdiction of the United States when the description of meets, bounds, plots, maps, tract, or parcel is filed with the county record in which it's situated.
Well, the county executive is Dracula. Got it.
Yeah,
Together with copies of the orders, deeds, and patents and evidences in writing of what? Title of the United States.
they don't understand that their met and bounds is the meat of the hounds. If you choose to be measured like that, you will be bounded like that.
Measured, enumerated, calculated. If
right.
long as you want to be counted, you're gonna have a problem. You want to be famous? You want them to people, well, when are they gonna recognize us? Why are y'all trying to be recognized? Why do you want the government to recognize you?
We're supposed to be set apart for a reason, folks.
Somebody posted and tagged me in some 3-hour post where the man is talking about how to become a country. I don't want to become a country.
Some people don't know the history. They just don't know the history.
Well, guess what? The first
is file all this paperwork. I mean, where does it say that God gave dominion to countries?
What's the first 5 letters of country?
Count.
And account.
That guy's
You have to
insane.
count. See, you have to be enumerated.
Count fucking Chocula.
I asked, were we counting like bread grains? Because it's counting.
Yes.
Count rye.
Yes, they're counting grains and corn. Corn is not yellow.
They're
kernel.
counting goods
Corn-
and chattels
Yes, there you go.
upon which to levy, which is what it
Yes.
says in the Washington State
As a
statute.
commodity. As a commodity.
Yeah, but guess what? Guess what? The labor of a human being is not a commodity for an article of commerce.
That's the contract.
Okay? So, who has found the part of jurisdiction? Who has found the part that talks about the 17th paragraph of the 8th section of the first article of the Constitution of the United States? Because I'm going to tell you, 100% of these statutes or constitutions say that. They will say it. I know they don't read. I know they don't read. We know they don't read because they say stupid shit like we don't go by the federal constitution, as if they read the state constitution, because we know that if they did read it, they would see that the state constitution is only talking about the United States and the jurisdiction of the United States.
They're given scripts to repeat.
And they're saying that the United States is the superior document. So we don't think that they read. Because if anybody is telling you, oh, we don't go by the federal document, the federal constitution, we only go by a state constitution. And when you search the state constitution for the United States, they say United States 50 times. Hello?
Can I get that in writing?
Yes, you don't write, you don't go by the federal. Let's get that in writing.
Along with your favorite color, noose, to be hung in.
Rainbow color.
They need the rainbow color. That'd
Yeah.
be perfect.
Could you apply some pride to my news, please?
Who has found the part of the Constitution, guys? Who's found this part or something similar? The authority of the United States, the jurisdiction of the United States, the mention of the 17th paragraph of the 8th section of the first article of the Constitution of the United States. I mean, they literally have the section called jurisdiction.
Come on, guys. I'm
And
making sound. Somebody find it. Who's got that Maryland manual thing going on there?
Look at it right here. I mean, why don't they say authority of the state of Washington? Why isn't there a section that says that? Why is the only section about jurisdiction and authority talking about the implementation of the will of the United States?
What is that will? That's a will of necromancy. That's all it can be. It can't. It's not live work.
It seems like a will of war. I'm going to say that because of the mention of forts, magazines, arsenals. I mean, it sounds like Mars. God of war?
Sure do.
That's Roman.
Hey, Marika.
Oh my God, shut up.
Yep.
It says something a little bit different. It's Article 2, name and boundaries, Section 1.
Okay. Does it talk about Article 1, Section 8?
Well,
Law 17. Washington was not annexed.
And for the record, America is very contemporary.
Mexico ended at Oregon. Washington was not annexed. Washington relinquished a piece of its top for Oregon. And what's the one right below it? Oregon.
It's talking about territory.
Yes, because it's all under the Northwest Ordinance.
Canada.
The
charter of the county, they sent me the Northwest Ordinance. They actually,
wow.
I left them a message. I called and I said, I'm looking for these 2 documents. And they called me back. And the first one was like, do you want to talk to our attorney? I'm like, what? I asked for your charter and you asked me if I want to talk to the attorney. Why do I need to talk to the attorney to get the charter?
Wait,
we don't have
for
a charter.
where?
We don't have a charter. We're statutory
Where,
county.
Malika? Where did you make this request at?
Okay.
I called the county.
What?
The county commissioner's
Out in
office.
Washington? They say the
If
Northwest Ordinance.
Yeah, I called
Get
the
outta here.
this was in 2019. If you know what's funny, it was probably like January 2019, so 4 years ago. Because I was trying to figure out the thing with the taxes that I ended up having to sue them over. I wanted to know what type of land they could tax and where their taxing authority came from as far as the territorial documents of the state. So, yeah, they were like, we're a statutory county, and I didn't even understand what that meant. I was like, what? Where's your charter, motherfucker? Where's your ability to exist? Who wrote you into existence? I be getting irate.
The original 13 colonies is.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that document that talks about
Sure.
you being organized.
They're not yet a state, though. Anything outside of those 13 colonies.
Yeah,
even-
they sent me the Northwest Ordinance.
Right. They're not yet a state. They're actually independent, so-called count rise.
So that's why they have to be state of Washington and not Washington State. But there is no Washington State. There's only a territory called Washington with an embassy of the United States called State of Washington.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's why the HJ or the J, however you say it, 51. Washington is trying to become the state of what? Douglas.
Oh, you talking about DC?
Yeah, DC is trying to be.
I hope they never make it.
Well, here's the thing: the Douglas Commonwealth won't be just in that area. It'll be all over state of corporations that overlay the other states. So it'll be it'll be a macro instead of a micro.
Yeah. It's just like McDonald's and McCafe, and it's like, oh, we're gonna silently be McCafe now across the board through all.
Right.
I don't care what you call yourself,
Right.
slave. Stay out my way.
Move, slave.
Quit McFucking around.
Let's keep it McReal, right?
I know, right?
Have you guys found this section of the Constitution? Come on, guys.
Still have not found it for Maryland.
Oh, that's in the Ohio. I found it in Ohio Revised Code.
Okay, where it talks about the 17th paragraph of the 18th section, 8th section of the first article.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it under a section called jurisdiction or session or secession?
You know, I'll be dyslexic and shit. I can't tell you. It's there though.
Okay, Joe, well, go find it and let us know.
Guys, check the contents. Like, table of contents.
Okay, so now that we've completely shown the connection between the state constitution and the federal constitution, it should be very easy for us to draw the connection when we find the state county statute. Literally go to the table of contents of the state statutes or revised codes. It's going to say revised statutes or revised codes. And you're going to find out where they're referencing the state constitution and the federal constitution.
Correct. That is absolutely
You're going to
correct.
see where they say it's law for the government of the county. You're going to see where it says it's law for the property of the county. You're going to look for the term of the county, in the interest of the county, property of the county. You're going to look for corporate powers or body corporate and body politic. You're going to look for where they're talking again about inhabitants or residents. Because next time we're going to talk about this right here. Before a court can exercise power over a party, the United States Constitution, which they're all bound to and acknowledge as the superior law, requires the party has certain minimum contacts with the forum, which is the court in which the court sits. The jurisdiction, I'm sorry, the forum, which is the jurisdiction in which the court sits. If it's sitting in the jurisdiction of the United States, and the type of land that the United States is interested in is limited to this, isn't the question, what are they doing at your house, at your apartment, at your condo? Where's the documentary evidence that the land in question, that the court is attempting to adjudicate, is in the state, under the state jurisdiction? That would bring it under the court's jurisdiction. That's what we're going to look at next time. If you go to lawfulliving.com and you do hashtag minimum contacts, you'll see a bunch of posts that we've already gone over and over and over. Minimum contacts, what creates minimum contacts with the forum state, where they get to presume that you have given them express written consent to be sued as this type of citizen of the United States.
Something we sued as a business.
Oh, you're looking in the wrong place? That happens to all of us.
But this is good. This is a really good exercise, Malika. I gotta admit, this is good. This forces everyone to really fine-tooth comb it that they need, and it takes them out of not saying any of you guys are, but it's a practice that will make people get out of handhold mindset. Or can you look for me this kind of mindset? So I think this is amazing, actually.
Yes, I like to show everybody the technique that I use to research, because I think that that's one of the things that's going to be most valuable for everybody. When people are like, I don't know how to find this and I don't know how to find that, it just means you're not familiar with how to look. You have to get familiar with using keywords, and you have to also know that a lot of these PDFs, even though they're available online, they're not search engine optimized. So sometimes you have to already have found a particular section of a code in order to search that section for another keyword. They do not allow you to find it easily when you just search on the internet.
I will just add to that, as you said, even when you had mentioned yourself out here, Jonah Bays, even in our community, like, which is really just, we embrace everyone, but even in the immediate Moorish community, a lot of people have been misled. Honestly, they have been misguided. And I
It's
just
only
think
because they're
that-
listening to people like Yusuf El.
That's what I'm saying, because that's why I'm telling you. That's why I recognize. I told you when my mother Oracle had invited me last year in March, to check you all you guys out. I was like, okay, they sound and think like us. This is home. You ever want to set up right here?
Awesome, awesome. So let's take a couple of questions. Tecumseh, go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst.
I actually had an emotional outburst, but damn, we gotta talk about that Northwest Ordinance real
Y'all
quick.
want
All
to
right,
talk about the Northwest Ordinance?
listen. It's I've been wanting to bring it up on a couple calls, and I haven't done so because I wasn't done my research. But now
Okay.
that you say that Washington is giving you that shit as their listen to
Charter.
this, y'all.
Yeah.
And the Northwest Ordinance was meant for new territories of the United States. Listen, new territories
Yeah,
of the United States. So
of the United States.
this shit is letting me know that we're dealing with territorial courts.
Yes,
We're dealing with Article 1 courts.
yes. That's the only thing the administrative courts can do. That's why we are in Article 1, Section 8, and showing the connection. We can't get to Article 3. We can't get to Article 3 because there's Article 3 is not for whatever they're doing.
Well, when you think about the fact that they keep on telling you it's the Northern District of the whatever the fuck, well, when you go in and look at that Judiciary Act, the 1789, it calls that shit the District Court of the United States.
Yes.
So that let me know we in the wrong court. We're in the territorial court when we're calling it by that
Yes.
Northern District of whatever.
Which would mean that we have to be agents of the United States, period.
That's
So Malika, I have a question. If somebody is inviting you to participate in one of their programs and they want you to go to these hearing processes it's only for officials, that's only within their district and territories, correct? Correct?
I don't know. I try not to concern myself with what American United States citizens are supposed to do.
Well, no, it's the only reason I say that because, like through the housing authority, when they want you to become recertified and they tell you this recertification is the only way for you to stay within, your dwelling, then a lot of the papers through the recertification has to do with hearings of a court, which is the administrative course. Isn't that within their own territory?
The certification is false.
A lot of people want to be United States citizens. They want to be eligible to participate in the transactions, and they may go ahead and do whatever they want.
It sounds like banking. Like, I'm going to be a bank employee in a district. District is bank.
It is. You're exactly right.
So all courts are bankruptcy courts.
You created a 57-page document talking about spike proteins. Okay, you
Hey,
had
real
anything else to
quick,
share with us that you want to share with us, Joe?
Yeah, just real quick. I just wanted to give y'all an update on what I went through. So I went down to the territorial court yesterday, and they're gonna have to bring a special judge out to hear my case, and it's going to be the only one who can sign off on that is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the Ohio Supreme Court. So I figured I'm thinking that this judge is gonna have an actual delegation of authority.
Yeah, but is it going to say
Right.
it's over private property?
Yeah.
Is it going to say it's over private property, or does it have to be public housing?
Right. Well, so I'm just hoping it's an impartial judge, but I mean, obviously, if they gotta go shop around for a judge,
I
I
would
think
do
the
a
next
federal
one that
removal.
I was thinking that. Because of course, if they're saying non-payment, they asking me for a Federal Reserve. That automatically makes it a federal matter, right?
Well, because
But
they're talking about
Got it.
housing and they're trying to enforce a clause of the Housing Act, which is federal.
Right, but they keep saying state of Ohio. So I'm
It don't
calling
matter if in the state of Ohio, where does it
Mhm.
say is the state of Ohio jurisdiction? Does it say it's over United States property, like the one I just showed everybody?
Well, yeah, they're trying to decide which house is up, yours or theirs.
You see, it says jurisdiction. The jurisdiction is what's granted to them by the Congress of the United States. That means that it's federal.
Wow. Well, we just read that since all states are under the federal, that they're all federal, actually.
They're only
Right.
enforcing federal statutes and the United States Constitution to the people who are the military of the United States residing and domiciling in the state.
Joey Law rents.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I'm not a domicilier, a legal domicilier in the state, in the corporate state, in a federal jurisdiction, where is your possessory interest, Joe? If it's not contract locally in the state and it's not federal because you're not a federal military officer, where is your possessory interest of use? What house is it in?
Look at it right here. You see where it says resident defined?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's look at number 2. What does that say?
Man,
Spouse of a member of the United States Armed Forces if the member qualifies as a resident.
Okay, and what does number 3 say?
A member of the United States Armed Forces temporarily stationed in Washington State.
Okay, and what does number 4 say?
An active duty, non-retired member of the United States Armed Forces who is permanently stationed in Washington.
So how do you if in order to be a resident of Washington, you have to be a
military
In the
active.
military, in the United States Armed Forces.
Only way to be struck in the head and misled.
A spouse is a married, spouse is a marriage partner. So if you're married to the state in any way, you
you're
fall
married
under
to the
this.
state.
So if your action, mannerism, conduct is acting like a one USC one and same person, there is presumption of contract to take care of you because you're a minority state. But if you can't enunciate that clearly, you'll vineyard yourself like that, right?
The reason why I had everybody read 2, 3, and 4 is because if you just read 1, they don't mention the military person. But it is a military person because you cannot have definitions that are not related to each other. So the last 3 can't be members of the military, and then all of a sudden number 1 is not a member of the military. Do you understand?
Yeah. So,
So
Bobby,
number
let
1
me ask you a
also has
question.
to be a member of the United States Armed Forces.
So, Bobby and Malika, if you're married to the state through their licensure, right? And so the other partner becomes deceased. Does that mean the contract ends with you and the state, and you no longer have to be
The
bound
contract
to them?
never began with yourself in the state because in order for you to be qualified for the license, you first had to have a social.
Right.
And the social is only for persons who are debtors
Debtors,
to the
right.
United States. So if you never qualified to be a debtor in the United States, you do not qualify to apply for a license to do
Right.
business.
So if you don't know that, they're going to presume and assume that you're a sponsor. Spouse is a sponsor.
You guys keep going back to after you were not supposed to be involved in the transaction instead of sticking to the fact that you were not. It doesn't die. Your responsibility doesn't. I don't care whether it dies. I don't know whether it dies with the death of the spouse. What I know is I'm not eligible to be involved in the initial transaction.
There you go. Yeah.
So basically, all licenses are for businesses, and that's it. And the only way you participate is beginning a license, any type of license to participate in a business opportunity.
Absolutely. And all you have to do is read the Trading with the Enemy Act and see that all they're talking about from the beginning is licenses. It's telling you if you get a license, you're the enemy. Trading, trade shows. We right back under the authority of the Secretary of Commerce.
And I got that book too. I'm gonna look it over again. I'm gonna try to find some of those things in there.
All right, Tom, go ahead with your question, comment or emotional outburst.
Alrighty. So I sent, I was just thinking about when I got pulled over, so basically the officers are already involved in a conspiracy just when he calls the dispatcher, correct?
He's involved in it. I guess dispatch is involved in the conspiracy. The police is calling dispatch. Ain't dispatch supposed to call the police?
No, I'm just saying that when a cop pulls me over, he's immediately called his dispatcher or whoever he's communicating with to run my plate or do anything like that, right? So you already have a conspiracy there, and then wouldn't you all just be able to sue the cop because, or the officer because he was trained improperly? So you could find out the names of at least a couple of the people that he trained with in the academy.
Yeah, you have a situation of respondeat superior, which is why when people sue the state or sue an officer through a 42 USC 1983 case, they also sue the county or the city.
So you wouldn't just necessarily want to go after like one of the teachers, one of the actual, just ask this officer, okay,
But who was supposed to hire the teachers for the officer?
Well, exactly. I guess you're right. You just go to the top.
Is there's jumping the gun there, right? I mean, why are you suing anybody? I mean, just because he called dispatch and the plate became registered back to as a driver for the governor, and he pulled you over to ask about the governor. Where's the conspiracy in that? What exactly are you suing the guy for?
Well, I didn't have plates, but I'm not going to try to sue the guy, but the officer eventually, I could file a suit, but anyway, it's just kind of a silly question anyway. So when I sent the sheriff our new sheriff here, this guy's like evil looking, isn't he?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Like literally, they changed the sheriff when we sent the last sheriff a notice 2 weeks ago. So we sent a notice to the sheriff, and then like by the time the sheriff got the notice, there was a new sheriff.
Yeah, so I even wrote that in. I didn't mention anybody's names, but I said I already had witnessed this guy committing criminal acts. You know what I mean? And then I sent him the request for admissions that you have in one of your sections.
Okay.
But I also sent it to the Attorney General, the prosecuting attorney, and the Secret Service. But I'm thinking that I just heard you guys talking about calling the engineer and the sheriff, and then asking them for that record, of my property even being listed as a property to be fucked with.
Right.
Yeah. So who's this engineer guy you guys were talking about?
The county engineer.
So I already got that guy's name, and so we're not looking for Spokane Valley with all this stuff, Malika. We're just going for the county, correct?
Yes.
Well,
When the city gave the ticket, I went after the city. So I went to the clerk of the city, the prosecutor of the city, or the attorney of the city, did the chief of police. I did the mayor because he's the president of the city, and I did the administrative office of courts and the Secret Service just because they're on the same street. So, but when it was the state patrol, I went to the state level agency, which is the Enterprise Services here in Washington.
Right. Yeah.
They're all on Front Street, so you get them all, right?
By the way, they never got back to me at all. They never.
Of course.
No, it's actually Wall Street. They're all on Wall Street.
I sent a carbon copy to the state trooper that gave us his card. He never emailed me back either, and I know he got it.
Right.
So he got it. His agency got it, and I don't know if they had some type of internal whatever, but we never got any other mail about it whatsoever.
I'm expecting the same thing with the Idaho deal that I just had to deal with.
Yeah.
So when I sent them my true bill, of course, they're not going to ever pay that, right? That's when you have to get the evidence.
Unless you get with Grant and he shows you how to get the declaratory judgment to enforce it. Maybe the attorneys might chase you down and make you an offer.
Okay, so one last thing. So the mortgage company, they just switched my mortgage from the Servicer Midland mortgage to the bank, and they just recorded it. Well, they sent me mail saying that they recorded it in the county's records here. So I can just go after them for that, couldn't I?
Yes.
Putting forged documents on a public record?
No, go after the county to get your property removed because you have.
Oh, I'm
people
already
committing
doing that.
fraud.
I'm already doing that.
Yeah. So I would
finally
let
just-
the county know that further harm is happening now because they haven't removed it yet.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Oh, terrific. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So one more thing. So these last classes, they've just been terrific, And I already figured I got all this stuff down quite a while ago, but I just love listening to you talk, Malika.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome. Bye.
Anybody who's been around for more than a year, this is not their first time hearing us talk about this. But maybe we don't talk about it enough or we don't talk about it in depth or whatever, but here we are. All right, champ. Go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst.
Hey, so I just wanted to touch back on when you said that it's not the banks, it's the attorneys or the county, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I had submitted a complaint to the Office of Financial Regulations. That's who regulates the servicer.
Okay.
But they do some CFPB shit where they send, of course, the complaint.
Copy to the other party.
Yeah, yes. and give them a chance to respond. But the servicer responded like, hey, it's in litigation, so we don't know nothing about it. Basically, like saying how I read into it was it's discharged from our side. So we can't even speak on it. Literally, that's all they said.
It's above
What do
me
you
now.
mean it's in litigation? What is the it's in litigation?
The property in question is in litigation.
But what was the question that was asked of them?
I mentioned about the fraudulent, just like he was talking about just a second ago, the fraudulent assignment. That's all I contacted them about. And because they regulate them and they're supposed to follow these regulations, blah, 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 they didn't follow the regulations. So they just brushed it off, like saying without saying, it ain't us, it's them.
It ain't me, it's you,
Hot
baby.
potato, hot potato.
I
hot
was
potato.
like, what is going on? Okay.
It ain't me.
Right.
It's you, champ. It's you, champ. It's all you. champ.
It's me. It's me. I don't know. I'm sick of all this. I tell you.
Have fun with it. Don't be sick of it. Have fun with it. Do not be sick of it.
Okay, I got you. So secondly, my brother called me today and says, hey, I saw the same fucking process server that served me on my Ring doorbell camera today. Can I sue her?
Yes, you
So-
can sue her for trespass.
Yes. Okay. So he
Like
said
sue
she
her
has,
personally in small claims court for trespass for like
Okay, great.
$1,000 or something.
Okay, great. I'm definitely gonna tell him to get on that. Okay. Thanks. sis.
Yes, just a couple sentences about them not having any invitation and not having asked permission and probably coming to deposit unauthorized documents.
Right. And he says he says he has a no trespass sign right there.
Yeah.
Specific to all these people. But like I
Yeah.
said before, none of
What's
those
sad
Mhm.
about the trespass sign is one, they literally think that because they're supposed to be there,
That they're not.
they don't, it's not applicable to them.
No,
Yes.
bitch.
Because if I tell
You, it
myself
says they're
I'm supposed to be here, I don't care if you have a trespassing sign. That's like when I come to my own house, there's a trespassing sign out there, but I'm ignoring it because it doesn't apply to me. It's my house.
I put a piece of black tape over the ing, so it's no trespass, and then I put a no solicitation sticker.
Yeah. He has that up there. He even has one with the codes and all that fancy shit.
Yeah, they don't care because I belong here. The point of the trespass is to be able to sue them for not heeding to it because typically they'll say, well, did you notice the people? Did you notice the public or whatever that? And so you get to say, yes, here was my notice. And obviously it was ignored because bam, here they are.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even let them go with that just doing their job stuff because your job does not say that I mean, come on guys. It says private property shall not be private property trespass is prohibited.
So you made them willingly and knowingly, and they're acting outside their job description right there, bam.
Yeah, you see right here? Prohibited. Show them. Put that in the
Yeah.
the small claims court for the what you're moving under. You're moving under Article 1, Section 7, invasion of private affairs prohibited. I was disturbed in my private affairs when the dummy showed up. It made my heart beat double fast. That's intentional infliction of emotional distress. That's a real cause of action.
It's defibrillation.
Whoa.
This is how easy it is to get them, guys. All right, one more. Ma, go ahead with your question, common emotional outburst.
Mine is short if mine doesn't go. Mine is real short.
All right, you're unmuted. Go ahead. Oh no, we can't hear you. Feedback.
It's the same thing with the last question the other day. Cat went out like this.
Okay, now I don't know if you're talking, but it sounds even worse.
I can hear you clearly. I don't hear any feedback.
You can or cannot hear us clearly. Yeah, it sounds like Morse code, like beep, 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 beep.
Well, it may be SOS. Listen,
Is this better?
We actually heard you ask if it is better. It's still just sounding like Morse code. Okay, we're gonna have to go back on mute. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be real
Excuse
quick.
me,
Malik.
Hassan. With your question, common emotional
Okay.
outburst, you're gonna be our last guest for today.
Somebody brought up what is that called? Student loans, right? So we're doing some research, and I will just say, for the record, just to you though, you just check your email after class, right?
Okay.
I just wanted to ask some questions to the Department of Education, you know, and I just wanted to ask, you know what I mean, because I was just doing my little, you know, my little telephony field trip, so to speak, impromptu. And so I was like, hey, I spoke to somebody named Brian. I called like 4 people that they said you have to call or whatever when you're disputing the student loan or discharging or whatever. And out of 4 of them, the guy Brian calls me back, right? So with that being said, I asked them because I wanted to see who has to deal with or what language they're using when dealing with student loans under Title 34. Department of Education, they're under Title 34, the Code of Federal Regulations, so 34 CFR. So this guy kept referring to 34 CFR 685.200. However, when you look, there are certain words that are there. One, there's a recipient. If you look at 2 CFR 200.86, so 2 CFR 200.86, it gives a definition for recipient.
That's
which
the executive department.
Say that again.
Title II is executive department.
But they keep referring to in the 34 685.200, they're using these terms and saying where they're defined.
Yeah,
So
but if
when I
it's
was
defined
able
in
to
the
look
Title II, you better be an agent of that executive department.
that's what I was pointing out to this guy. So when you see what he sent me back and I forwarded it to you, I figured that it would just be an awesome laugh because one, recipient has to be something that's an employee. Then they said for a non-federal entity under 2 CFR 200.69. So when I looked at non-federal entity, I promise you, it made me laugh even harder because nowhere dealing with student loans anywhere is it talking about the sentient beings or the common people at all. It's almost like, remember Where's Waldo?
It's because they
But I feel
can't.
like
It's
glasses.
because they can't. If
Exactly.
you cannot start off with Article 1, you can make rules for the government and then try to act like any of it applies to private men and women. You
Oh,
just, it's an impossibility.
watch, he tries to use student as his backup. Well, I'm glad you sent me these codes, Hassan. Well, look, and he highlights student in each section like they talk to a staff's attorney. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, isn't the word federal in front of student aid? Like federal student.
Federal
Bro,
student.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
you got to be
specific-
under the GI Bill.
Yeah,
You
they're
got to be under the
specific.
GI Bill.
They're specifically talking about third people.
Told you what
but
to
if-
ask them for.
Yeah, but if people trespass on them, they're going to get sucked up in that too.
Send me the
As
instrument
one
on the
USC wanted
underlying
some people.
obligation so I can make it payable.
That's right, Charles. Keep saying it. Send me the
It'll
instrument
be
or stop
done.
talking to me. Send me the
Because
instrument of the underlying obligation.
when they don't send it, issue the default, stop paying, and when they want to move it into some kind of fucking civil court, you already have the money.
Now,
You already got the money.
just to add to your wisdom, I do have experience in 2016 helping people get rid of student loans by one simple letter. However, my curiosity, because you know I'm with the shits, I was like, let me just speak to somebody and see what they think. And all I could think of was that shirt. Has your sheriff read the Constitution? I'm like, has your freaking Department of Education, you know what I mean, being read their fucking codes for real? And they do not. I repeat, they do not. And you'll see in that email I sent you, Malika, they do
Okay.
not.
Oh, I know. When I asked the lady at the clerk at the tax office if she'd be willing to read the definition of person with me under the tax code, it was at least 20 people on the line. Everybody heard her, never having read it to herself ever before.
Right.
So anyway, on that note, guys, peace. I'm
Peace
sorry I
and
didn't
love.
get to everybody again.
The
But
earth is flat.
study up. Watch
Bye,
those
Sigma.
last 3-4 videos, especially if you're new here. Get into the classes if you need more in-depth information about any of this. We talk about this stuff in classes like Beat the Bar. We talk about it in specifically what we're talking about here in Pigpen. So people are already in there sharing their sections of the constitutions and charters that say, you know, why they're not supposed to be talking to us. So next time we're going to delve more into the term of resident because you guys are going to see that it absolutely comes directly from the census. And that's what they always write into their invitations into court. Defendant is a resident. Defendant domiciles in. The defendant domiciles at. That's what they're gonna accuse you of. So next week, have someone's accusatory instrument. It doesn't have to be one against yourself, but against anyone. So you can look and see what they say in the stuff that they give you that you can attack using the stuff we've already gone over.